Back to the upside we go here this morning after a bit of a pause to this rally yesterday. President Trump just, it looks like, appearing at the door possibly here any moment of Air Force One landing in Beijing early on this morning for us. Later on in the evening, obviously, over in China as the entire group has successfully made their way over to China, including Jensen Huang. He boarded Air Force One in Alaska during a refueling stop this morning. So everything in play, including Nvidia and the H200s getting sold back into China. So positivity, not only for the NASDAQ this morning, but positivity for Nvidia specifically back to 226. Absolute monster gap to the upside. We'll talk about these chip stocks in general, how they could come into play throughout the day today. Speaking of China, Alibaba, not great here to the downside this morning, a little bit worse than expected on their earnings out early on this morning. Profitability, a little bit of a concern. The forecast going forward, a little bit of a concern. And oh yeah, more inflation data to come coming up in under 30 minutes now. We'll bring you PPI, the producer side of things, after what we got yesterday on the consumer side of things. If you missed it, again, hotter than expected CPI yesterday morning. If the same thing happens here this morning with PPI, we'll see how the market will digest that. But good to see Air Force One. I'm keeping my eye on this coverage of it live, apparently, over in Beijing. But no one has emerged from the plane yet. The door is open, so we'll see what the reception is like for Trump.
You and I speaking about the weird kind of development that Jensen Huang not accompanying President Trump yesterday, given that he had so much to lose. I mean, let's be honest about it, right? These H200s are a huge source of possible revenue for them, especially with the company basically until about a couple of years ago, 20% of their revenue, Brendo, came from China. And use Jensen's own words, that is basically zero at the moment. So you figure he probably wants to move the needle there. And let's be more honest about it. This is a $5.5 trillion company with zero revenue in the second largest economy in the world. That says a lot on its own, right? Imagine exposure there and possible
huge upside,
right? Yeah. So a good look. There's a lot to talk about today. A lot of the chip names as well, as you mentioned. Micron really ripping here, 6%, well over $800. A Bank of America upgrade as well as some other issues, obviously with Samsung and the possible strike there. You got NXT up 14%, EOSE's up 26%, QuantumScape. Remember this? The science experiment, well, they're up 8.25% this morning, so a lot to talk about.
We've seen a couple days in a row here, quantum stocks back in play a little bit on the back of better than expected earnings from QUBT. There is a large reception waiting on the tarmac here, it appears, for President Trump, as he's yet to make his way off Air Force One. But Elon on the plane, I was reading this morning as well. Jensen on the plane, obviously picking Jensen up on the way by through Alaska. On a touch and go refueling stop this morning.
And you gotta love President Trump, true to form, right? Taking shots at the mainstream media, the fake news, CNBC misreported this, that. The great Jensen Huang was not accompanying me to China. Of course he is, so there we are.
Yeah, lots to come potentially this morning. I mean, I was reading the schedule, his apparent schedule for this trip to China. It's 2 days.
Yeah, it's not
like it's a quick in and out kind of thing. There's going to be a big reception dinner tomorrow evening, I guess, and then they meet throughout the day tomorrow and the following day, and that's it. And then he's gone. So let's see what they can get done in 2 days. But yeah, inflation data. Remember, guys, coming up at 8:30 this morning. We'll bring that to you. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Look, man, they'll be in, they'll be out, got to get back here. Jensen's got to be back for earnings next week, so he's got to prepare for that over the weekend or whatever it is. It's probably not that big of a deal. No, President calls, toss the schedule around, and he'll be there for the trip. But look, man, yesterday, the afternoon, I mean, Nvidia was running too. Like, it bounced off you up, closed near the highs. But this morning, you got Nebius and Tower Semi, and then all of the chip recovery that happened. Really, it's more just about back to normal. When we ended the show, it's like, okay, great. We had this semi V-shaped recovery, but let's make sure we're holding on to strength, and the buy the dip is actually winning. We don't want to be gapped down, and we gapped up. So great. The dip buyers came in full force. They cared nothing about that CPI print, it seems. And so it makes it hard to believe that the PPI, I don't know, how hot would it have to be to matter here?
It doesn't matter. I don't think it matters
I don't
at
think
all.
it can after the CPI print it did, the CPI print, look, we were down. Ultimately.
A lot.
Yeah, we're down a lot. So you can't say that it didn't. Like we said this in the afternoon show, all of the best trades were short. Like they were all like good short trades in the morning, but we ultimately came right back to where we were. So the reaction was pretty flat, and now all of a sudden it's exuberant. So you just can't really ignore what the bull market is telling you at this moment, except for Alibaba and crypto. Bitcoin is slightly down today. So that's languishing a little bit relative to some of the great chip stories.
I believe Bitcoin should be rallying more than it is. But
It's weird right now.
we'll take it at 80,000. Yeah, look, today, man, it's already out. The sticky note's out already because it was an easy one today. It's risk on. It's Nvidia, it's Intel, it's Marvell. Yesterday, we had a $9 short in Intel. We had an $8 short in Marvell. But today, we write the words long on here. We long the NASDAQ. We had the short in the NASDAQ yesterday at 76, went to 73.50, something like that. Boom, 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 boom. So today, it's definitely a risk-on kind of day. And the reason why, we saw it yesterday, and it's right into there, 75 long NASDAQ, because we have proven strength. If we dip, let's just keep the long in mind. I mean, that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for these dip buys, and yesterday, we got exactly that. I don't know if you're able to get long anything yesterday because the market seemed like it just ripped right back up. So
there was Nvidia did a VWAP retrace in the afternoon.
but I was watching. I was like, what the hell? The market's like green.
It was crazy.
I know the NASDAQ.
ARM bounced off that 200, by the way. I had to move. I didn't get it. It went to 200.
I'm long. I got long. I was bidding 201.
I had to move.
So that's
because I didn't get hit. So
that's you didn't.
I had to move up. So I think I ended up.
I saw it didn't break 200. And I knew you were at 242 or 242 or 222 or something like that.
Not anymore. I had to buy.
You moved it up. Yeah. So I actually yesterday. That's what. I was sitting there, and all of a sudden I got the alert that we got long at 201 on ARM. But just a starting position, I mean, wow, okay, I didn't even look at the chart. That's literally, okay, so there you go. So Bank Air in my favor yesterday. It looks like it gets as low as, and I looked too, because I was wondering if it did break 200. $200.88 was the low there. I was literally bidding 201, but as I told everybody, I told you guys yesterday, it was like a 10%, 15% stake. We took there in the whole company, in the portfolio that I was looking to start to build. And I think this is part of the talk, right? You want to get long on companies that you believe, have more legs to them. And I think that if we are in the second or third inning of this AI trade, then yeah, Nvidia's acting like it's, maybe early stages as it's starting to get going now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight updates for Nvidia there, but I've never been into ARM yet. So we get into some ARM there. And again, what did we sell? We've sold some AMD and some Intel and all that to get into that name. So it's not, I'm just rotating cash around, and it's not, probably not a smart idea. Yesterday we did, just because like you're going from one name to the other, it's kind of like, just hold them all and you probably would get the same responses. But you know what? Yesterday, this is a sign of a really healthy market, in my opinion, because yesterday we had the NASDAQ down 0.71, but we did have the Dow up yesterday half decently, about more than 0.5%, I believe. And a lot of that was to do with Eli Lilly. We got a nice little bounce yesterday from $950 up to $1,000. So that was a nice little move there for Eli Lilly. And some of the other names were rebounding yesterday as well. We had a strong day from Walmart.
Look at the
Costco,
JP Morgan.
Yeah, JP Morgan, yeah.
The market did a V. What's the term for? Is there a name for when you surpass the V-shaped recovery, break out, and bull flag it? Like there needs to be a term for
capital
that.
V.
Like, cause it's just super impressive.
But it's still at 304.
It's still at the bottom, but it looks like
it's not doing much.
When you look at the chart now on JP, it's not up today. That looks like a reversal candle off the 50-period moving average. The only thing that's surprising me this morning is Bitcoin. Silver did the same thing. SLV. This did almost a similar thing. Like it V-shape and then broke it out. That's really bullish over the last couple of days. I'm gonna like that for a long time. There's just a lot to watch. I just don't know about this IBIT. There's always something languishing, and this is languishing, and down all morning too. So like that's the one place where I don't think I've changed how I feel from yesterday. JKL with the report this morning. I guess we've got a theme this week. Like Rossini's husband at a Pats game, uncomfortable. These markets make me nervous. Wait and see for me today. Well, we do have the PPI print if you're waiting for that at 8:30. Sorry, what was that, Andre?
Oh, Trump has arrived.
Oh, Trump has arrived. Okay, he walked down the steps. So they're in Beijing. He just walked down the steps, I suppose, of Air Force One there. But yeah, I understand your sentiment, but it's a bull market. So when the dip gets bought and we go higher, I'll default to just look for the longs, and unless it's something that stands out. IBIT stands out to me, not looking as good as other things. SMCI maybe. This Bitcoin and crypto for sure. Everything else looks really good, especially in the chip and the AI space. They're just flyers. And then, of course, earnings, right? Like that Nebius and Tower Semi were both monster runs on the reports. I guess you could point to Alibaba, but even Baba caught a pretty big bounce pre-market here off of some of those lows after their miss. I don't know. I feel like a lot of times it's easy to feel this way when the market just rallies on bad news. But it's still a rally. Like a rally is a rally, regardless of the reason.
Yeah, it's too bad that Alibaba comes out there with those earnings, but it'll be green by the end of the day as well. What did Meta do yesterday? Is it back above 600? Yeah, so it's just hovering around 600 right now. So we'll wait to see what Meta wants to do there today. It does not really get above there yesterday. Kind of hovers around. Did have a nice dip down into 590. So we're gonna have to wait out for Meta. I mean, every name seems to be wanting to go except for Meta. So Meta and Palantir, and then maybe even Sir Softy over here. Having some issues with itself, still down near that $400 mark. So, we'll wait to see. Even though the market, I'm saying risk on today. There are names. We just saw Meta down, Microsoft down, Palantir. So there's a few names that continue to languish here on the day. And a lot of that is because we had that epic rise there near the end of the day. So it's creating some downside pressure right now back into some support. So we'll have to wait to see Palantir gets excited. But I've got Nvidia, I've got Intel on my mind, I've got Marvell on my mind as well. Both these names with upgrades today from Bank of America. Both Nvidia and, Marvell gets upgraded, and I believe Intel does as well. And there's Intel up 4% on a deal with Google getting into those new Chromebooks there. So that's another exciting aspect for Intel. And, you sell your Intel shares and you always wonder why you did that. Marvell, 174 is all-time high. So we'll look to see if that one kicks out as well today. But, 175.80. All right, man, it's 8:12. We're excited to be here one more time. My last day this week. Then you'll be getting Joe for 24/7, it seems like. And then I'm back on
an IPO
Tuesday.
today.
Cerberus is today?
Cerberus is tomorrow.
Tomorrow, that's
the big IPO is tomorrow. Cerberus is the big AI IPO, but there's that geothermal energy company, which it's pretty big. Fervo Energy is $2 billion.
Wow. Okay.
In size. So it's a large IPO. I mean, I don't know how excited the market is going to be to a geothermal energy company, but hey, energy's in demand, so
it might be great.
It's in a pretty solid space. I'd like it more if it was nuclear. But we'll keep you guys abreast of that one. Like, there's a quote up. There's no imbalance or anything yet. It's on the NASDAQ, so FRVO on the NASDAQ. Double check. It's in the database, so I can already call it up. Like, it looks like nothing, right? Like, there's your all grayed out, and we'll probably see that open up. Let's call it somewhere between 12:30 and usually 1:30, I feel like, or 12 and 1:30, I guess we'll get that. Tomorrow's the biggie, and I'll do this. A lot easier
150
to show you guys.
This morning.
Yeah, it's just continuing to get. I think it was 105 to 115 to begin the week, like Monday morning. That got moved. I'm talking about Cerberus here, and then that got moved to 115 to 125. Now you're looking at 150 to 160 range. It just keeps on going higher and higher. Now 5.5 billion offer amount. Obviously. As the share price increases. So this is going to be the biggie. There is another one tomorrow, Blackstone Digital Infrastructure Trust, whatever that is. Pretty solid. That's $2 billion, but it's got to be a Cerberus tomorrow.
Don't worry, Joppy. I will stop leaving you. Tell my kids to stop making all these plans. We're going actually to Minnesota. She's at the Shattuck Challenge there, so it's a hockey thing. So we're flying out to lovely Minnesota. So we'll see. There's a trader in our chat called Minnesota Trader, so maybe we'll be there. We're gonna check out the Mall of America. Mall of America. Yeah, we're staying one night there, so that should be fun.
Look at me, America.
There as well. We rented a Jeep Wrangler. Marissa wanted to get that, so we're ready to go with that one. We talked about that. If it's warm enough, we'll drop down that top, but I don't think that'll be happening. Sharif was complaining that it's too humid today. So that's why I said it is. I don't know. It's 9 degrees here right now, Celsius.
I didn't feel the humidity. I felt a little chilly. This morning. I'm wearing a sweater, man. I know, but it's cold.
92%.
So I'm happy. Like, I'm literally in a sweater, and it's the middle of May.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's definitely the temperatures are definitely under.
It's way under seasonal
expectations.
The kids are going to be, we have practice tonight. The kids are going to be in their jackets.
Dude, we have a game that starts at 8. Your practice, your kids will be in bed by 8. What time does practice go?
Usually we'll roll till about 8:15 or so. We start at 6:15, so we usually go for a couple hours.
Nice.
Make sure they get some hitting.
We'll be in bed by the second inning and third inning over there. Yeah, it's going to be way too cold, man. It's going to be way too cold. All right, well, not if you're Sharif, but it's the humidity that's getting him. That's the problem. So. But that's why he's in the black, so all those humidity sweats gets, blocked there by the black. But looking handsome in the back there, as I just look like I do. Neil looks handsome as usual. And then there's Brendan with the cleanest fade around as well. Oh, is that Joe back there? Yeah, Joe's getting ready to go over there as well. All right, man, from 2 of us back to the 3 of them. Let's go see what's up.
All right, we're going to jump over to Joe. Let's get a look at some options, please.
Sounds good, guys. Let's take a look at some of the activity from yesterday's session. We're going to kick things off with a name that has been on a run, a quiet runner here, guys. That's going to be Nokia at this $12 marker, going to be expiring this Friday. We'll get into the contract momentarily, but I want us to take a look at this $12 strike price. Substantial open interest, but also for a $12 name, low on volume. So I'm going to be looking for some transactions around this level, 72,600 contracts still currently open at that specific strike price, but with only 504 contracts traded on yesterday's session, we're going to be looking at a $23 spread as well, too, guys, on this name. I mean, that's pretty expensive for a $12 underlying. Now, as for your delta, this is an in-the-money contract, so you can see we're sitting at that $90 metric, and gamma exposure relatively high, sitting around $17 as well, too. So for every $1 change, you're going to see that delta increase to approximately $1.07 there. Also, don't forget we can use our delta metric as a percentage gauge in which the contract is going to expire. We're sitting at this 9 delta right here, so we can say that there's a 90% chance that this contract will close at this specific above this specific level. Now, as for the at-the-money IV, 83.9%, that's slightly elevated, but I want us to focus on the contract itself here, guys. From April 23rd to where we're currently trading now, 1,400% return in that specific contract. Moving forward, we're going to be taking a look at a name that reported after the bell yesterday, guys. Oklo, $80 strike price, open interest sitting around 7,120 with 9,300 contracts opened and closed at that specific level. Bid in the ask relatively tight here, guys, only $5 spread, and the delta, considering it is an OTM contract, $31 in your gamma exposure, relatively light, but with earnings comes increased volatility, 151% on this specific underlying. And then we'll take a look at the contract itself, 56% to the downside in the span of a couple of sessions throughout the week. So stock's not down that much, but the contract, when it's expiring relatively soon in a couple of days, you're going to see all the Greek metrics really start to get amplified, and you see the contract really start to lose its value. Now, moving forward, we're going to take a look at the top 3 names. As we typically see, the SPY and the NASDAQ pretty close to all-time highs, but what we have at the bottom of the list, NVDA hitting all-time highs this morning, guys. But SPY, 11 million contracts traded, open and closed on yesterday's session. Keep an eye out for that $740 marker. Now, as for the triple Qs, guys, 710 there, but 7,850,000 contracts open and closed on yesterday's session. Keep an eye on that 710. These are both going to be expiring this Friday. Then we're going to take a leap forward here and take a look at the May 22nd expiration cycle, 2 days after the name reports. NVDA 235, lots of volume yesterday. That's total volume, but open interest It's relatively cool. And if we go back and we looked at previous open interest before the earnings report, we would see hundreds of thousands of contracts throughout a range of strike prices. This open interest is relatively cool, and if it doesn't continue to climb, I'm going to be looking for moves north of this $235 marker on NVDA. Let's send it back to Neil and Sean.
Love NVDA. Like him today. Yesterday in the afternoon, they had that the VWAP bounce. Every day brought to you by the volume-weighted average price. But you know what? That Nokia is not disinteresting either. I mean, come on. Nokia. There's a lot of charts that look like this. Maybe this is not the one that you would expect. Obviously, they did have that tie-up with NVIDIA as well, so another name drop there. But $14 here. Looks like it got, this is a wick to 1403 on Monday. It looks like, probably not a dark pool wick. It looks like it's legitimate. But like just over 14, this is set up for a pretty good break. So Nokia, very much on radars. Just like NVIDIA, or continue to like NVIDIA, the V-shaped recovery. The pattern that we talked about as well for NVIDIA, I know we'll probably get to them in the rundown in addition, is almost every day since it broke out from the base, it's not just that like it tries to test lower, but we won't break the prior day low. Like it's just holding the line. Sometimes it's holding it higher, but it's just, no matter what, we're holding these higher lows. Even on the worst day, it doesn't even approach the prior day low, so we're just coming in shy of it. So you're looking for the dip buys before you get there on NVIDIA, because if it loses the prior day low, that's the pattern break that just hasn't happened to it yet. And it, maybe not every single day has it been right away to the upside and clean, but that just, it's still an upward trend. You can say whatever we want about what happens in 8 minutes when we get this PPI print, or what happened yesterday, or that, oh, NVIDIA hasn't been going as fast and as furious as some of the other names, but it's still a stair step to the upside, which makes it a long until proven otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, I have everything risk on today: NVIDIA, Intel, Marvell, the TQQs, everything. So I think the number one name to look at over here would be NVIDIA today. You know, upgrades. We had Jensen arriving in China. People are going to speculate. You know, hopefully only good things sort of happening there for NVIDIA. Possible chip deal coming through as well. We'll see if there's any talk of that. And yeah, so NVIDIA for me is a hella long. And that Nokia was just. Was $5 a year ago. So yeah, man, I mean, where we are right now, I mean, what a nice move. Again, upside. This was just $7 2 months ago. So it's doubled up there. So you guys have made a lot of money if you've been holding on to some Nokia over the last little while as well. So yeah, some good names there. I'm always looking at something like CoreWeave. You know, we already talked about ARM bouncing off 200, CoreWeave bouncing off 100 as well right now. So that's, you know, good area. I don't think we're going to be dumping off for any other kind of reason, but we did have NBIS. Nebius was actually quite a hot name there with their report as well. 175 up to 210 today goes NBIS. So it's just like nonstop here. For a lot of these names, man, just continue to get that compute power and get going there for NBIS. Wow, another nice move. Right back, like look at that, man, right back into support again for this name, back into 140, now 210 and trying to go higher here. So there's so much going on right now in this space. And then you know, we haven't even talked about what oil has been doing right now, and that's huge again. You know, 143, we had that nice run yesterday, almost back up into these top areas. So hopefully we're getting toppy on oil right now, because honestly, man, with the way that CPI was yesterday, I don't know. Eventually, these rates are going to have to trickle into this market, and I think that's the one thing that sends this all tumbling down a little bit, hopefully temporary, because they can't lower rates with the current CPI.
No, not the way things are going.
If oil keeps on doing what it's doing, then you're definitely going to need a rate increase, and that's not good. The market really hasn't priced that in yet. I'm nervous for when they do.
At least,
like the market will come back in a lot.
Because when rates higher, you chase that growth, and that's where the AI trade does come in the fact that it's the growth area. So that's where money wants to flock to first. Just before we throw it back up to the boys, IBIT and yeah, I mean the market pulled back a little bit going into the number in 5 minutes, but Bitcoin just tested very close to 80,000. here. It's almost at yesterday's lows now, so continuing to look just very, very weak. Here is Bitcoin, and again, I know it's holding that 80 level, but that's the good thing that's happening is the fact that you're holding 80,000. Not much for USO. You're still in the top end of the range. It was a very sideways day, but that sideways accumulation is not necessarily like it's a good thing in a bull market, but we don't want this to be doing this higher. Like I think if we can just break down this 142 and a half, you know, maybe something positive that we hear from China or from President China, the delegation there, and then we start losing this, that's another thing that can fuel the fire. And maybe that's what we need to see happen for Bitcoin to catch a bit of a bid. But Randy just gave us a special delivery. Came with the omelets and bacon.
Yeah, I saw.
Okay, the bacon is, well, see, that's perfect. It's not, I'm not a crispy bacon guy, but it's like there's a,
oh, yeah,
I don't know how you describe it, but it's not. It's
a good one.
Well, but this is just about perfect. Just about
a lot of bacon over there.
I'll take it.
For that, I want to say a big shout out to, since we're talking about food right here, I just noticed in my, oh no, where did it go? Oh no, I just brought, oh there it is right here. Shout out to this one, Nasty Thoughts. Here's tilapia right here. At the Calgary Zoo, and thought of you, doesn't look very appetizing. Here's a bunch of tilapia, I guess, at the Calgary Zoo right there. So yummy coming through, and here it is right here. I don't know what this says here. What do they eat? Okay, aquatic plants. Okay, that's nice. How big are they? Anyways, yada, yada, yada. Funny stuff happening there on X. So thank you so much for sharing your view of tilapia when you were at the zoo there. So, but anyways, yeah, bacon and eggs. Hopefully no fish products in this meal right now. But all right, 8:27 coming up. We should have Luis Barbado there in the calendar for a small cap recap. So that should be recapping some small cap names. We'll talk to him very, very shortly. And yeah, numbers today. It should be a good one. I mean, the market seems to be, for me, risk on. All the ideas I have today are long. So yeah, we're excited to keep looking at that. Maybe short USO. We'll see what winds up happening out there. But let's go back over to the desk. Excuse me.
A little bit here. Earnings call still on. CFO saying Microsoft and Meta contracts should unlock significant asset-backed financing, expecting the financing to come at attractive terms because it's backed by Microsoft and Meta's credit rating. The circular motion continues here, even outside of Nvidia at this point, just Microsoft and Meta.
Yep.
Huge move, though. Just monster earnings for this thing.
Ridiculous. 114% year to date on NBIS. 400% in the last 12 months, so the last fiscal year, establishing itself as one of the most foremost, I should say, neoclouds. They're providing additional compute capacity at a time where, of course, AI data centers very much in demand. Here's what they did on earnings. They did post an adjusted loss of about $100 million, but as we know, very CapEx heavy business, so not really odd there. Deeper than the $83.6 million they lost a year ago as they continue to scale. Revenue total $399 million. That is more than 7 times that $400 million figure, the 53.5 that they printed last year, well above the 375 expected by the street. So good look. And there's a lot of derivatives for anybody who wants to trade NBIS but doesn't want to actually play the main name. There's NEBX, NBIL, NBIG. So a lot of derivative names that you guys can trade a little bit cheaper cost there.
Nothing above us, obviously, for resistance at this point for NBIS. The other potential, anyway, mover today, oil once again creeping back higher early on. We get to 102 on WTI. We get to 108 on Brent once again this morning. So it's looking more, I mean, we touched on this in depth yesterday. It's looking more and more like things are going in the wrong direction over in the Middle East, not the right direction. Who knows what, comes of this meeting between Xi and Trump? Maybe he gets Xi to start, pushing the narrative a little bit harder on getting things reopened.
Before he called that reporter dumb yesterday, he was also asked, I had to, he was also asked specifically, are you going to bring up the Iran issue with President Xi? And he's like, no, we've got a lot of other things. I doubt we're going to bring up Iran. We have it under control. Yeah. Those are his words. Whether you believe it or not is a different story. But yeah, his take is he's got Iran under control. Also this morning, Brent, I don't know if you saw this coming in here on the wire, but the Saudis saying that their production has dropped to the lowest level since 1990, basically the Iraq War #1. That's not a good look. We need more supply to come online. There's already very few coming out of the Strait of Hormuz, and we know that pipeline that kind of crosses Saudi Arabia onto the Red Sea can't carry nearly as much as the ships, but hey,
Who blinks first here, I think, is going to be the key. And who knows? Again, maybe we get some sort of positive momentum from this meeting between these two, or maybe we don't. I don't know. USO back higher right now. I mean, there's nothing significant going on as far as headlines concerning this, guys. But as far as oil is concerned, still a headline-driven market.
We got 4.4.
PPI was huge right
versus
there.
3.7, and the month over month is 0.6 versus 0.2.
That's
so
not good.
that's not necessarily good. Obviously, that's hot. That's hotter relatively than yesterday with the CPI. We were able to bounce in yesterday's trade. You see the Qs starting to come up. Here, we'll go to let's go to 3 very quickly. You see the Qs coming off and sort of breaking the lows in there. So yeah, our first look is to the downside on a hot PPI print there. The month over month, that 0.6 versus.
Just get ready to buy it all up.
Expected. Well, yesterday the dip lasted a while. That's for sure. But we're still looking dip anyways. You guys can see that 0.6. The keys we're expecting. On the month over month, you're looking at 0.2.
Yeah, the market's actually not really moving. I mean, now it's starting to go. We started this at 0.6, so now you're down to 0.4. So it is a nice move for now. You're just coming back into sort of where we were this AM, but we'll see what winds up happening there with another. So that's back to back. CPI yesterday hotter, this one hotter. As you go, there's the numbers right there. So as Brendan was talking about oil, that didn't really move too much on this. We were watching that, but it is the NASDAQ now that's starting to hit a little bit of a snag. But I mean, honestly, this is, we saw yesterday's move was down 1.7, 1.8% at one point. It battled all the way back into yesterday afternoon to close, at and near record highs. I don't think we closed at record highs, but there it is right here. Like, are we due for a little bit of a pullback? I mean, this is where we're at right now with this being considered, this number. So, pulling back into the Qs into 706, 707, that makes a little bit of sense to me. You have the 200 period at 708, where we started yesterday. This is what yesterday's action created, and then there's the battle back. As we said, a V-shaped recovery yesterday. If you get anything like that into here today, I think it's bound to do the same thing with tons of positive talk. I mean, what's been rallying this market, right? Memory names, chip names, the AI trade, high quality, good quality companies, Apple. We talked about Walmart, we talked about Costco. And like, these names aren't really worried. Like, oh no, Micron went down $6. Like, this is nothing right now to worry about. So we'll see if the market wants to come back in and start to buy some of these names. But I'm surprised they bought them all up yesterday.
You know what I'd be worried about?
So we'll see if it's strong or not.
I'd be worried, like, it's one thing if you have growth, it's one thing if you have revenues. I'd be more worried about, like, names like Rigetti. Like, if you fall on this end of the spectrum, they didn't get the big bid yesterday. The quantum names, because fundamentally they're just so unsound realistically, and they didn't have a great report in comparison to the other quantums. So I don't know, I might throw this one back in and look for some VWAP. But you know what? It's small cap time because we have Luis, our good friend. So get back to the desk. Luis on a Wednesday treat.
Yep. Someone's knocking at the door. I don't know if you heard that or not, but. Let's bring him in. Talk a little bit about what is moving around this morning on the smaller cap end of the scale here. Just saying, IW, getting hit on this number as well. Back red on the day. I don't know if that was on our end or your end. We're hearing some audio there, Luis. Maybe we can.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
I think it is coming in through your head. All good. We'll continue. I hope your morning's going well. Let's touch on a few things that have happened so far this week. I mean, everyone focusing still on, macro headlines, the overall market here, but doesn't mean there haven't been some pretty good smaller movers.
Yeah, we have a lot of movers. We have a crazy movement this morning and 2 days ago with WOK, WOK. Look at this one from 0.20 went to $6 all the way down. Pullbacks, very serious pullback. We have a very strong movement yesterday from $2 to $8. Look at the after hours yesterday and today. the pre-market. Look, it broke the highs of day before, overnight and close of the day before went to $11. Look at this, from $11 to zero almost, $1 below dollar for a moment. So that was a crazy movement. It was very early in the morning, like 6 hours before the market opens almost, so we couldn't trade it that much. But it was very interesting movement, and we still have some today.
Just totally off topic, but I was having a conversation with someone here yesterday that the switch over from normal trading hours to this 23.5, or potential anyway, 23.5 type model had a date attached to it finally, which I think is the first week of December. They're targeting at this point specifically for the NASDAQ. Talk a little bit about, as you were mentioning, super early, no liquidity, really tough to, put any kind of significant risk on a trade like that. I mean, no one really understands what this is going to bring, but potentially these types of ideas and these types of trades significantly impacted here.
Yeah, well, no one knows what's going to happen, how the market is going to react to these new rules, the same as the PDT rule removed I think, a couple of weeks or something like that. You never know how the market is going to react. I think that these movements are so illiquid because we cannot trade. Not so many people can trade. Once the market is open 23 hours, I think the volume is going to spread a little bit during the day, the night, because there's Asian markets, both trading 23 hours. So I think the volume is going to a little bit spread during the whole day, 23 hours.
All right. Anything else popping or catching your attention here so far this morning?
Yeah, we have a couple of tickers. First is this QUCY. Interesting move. I have some doubts with this one because I like the short. Why I like the short? Because we have this pump and dump history. You can see a lot of movements on this stock. We go like 15 minutes. You will see a lot of movement like this, up almost 100% and all the way down again. A lot of days making this kind of move up and down. Look at this one. It's from 170 to 340 all the way down. So it has a chart of up and down history. So we like to short and all the way back down. But we have a couple of concerns. So it's not all green flags for this short. We have a couple of red flags. First one is a bid price non-compliance. So this stock was notified 20th of March that it has to trade over $1 for 10 consecutive days. You see, from 20th of March, it has already tried 3 or 4 times to, push and try to go over the dollar. Failed all of them, but it's something I don't like if I'm short near the dollar, let's say, okay? That's the first concern. The second one is not a US company, it's a German company, so the float is lower and it's more volatile, more difficult to forecast what's going to happen in this kind of stocks. But so far, we like the short if it respects the 65 cents. If this high of pre-market breaks, I will avoid short until the chart, the volume, the tape reading tell me opposite, okay? And so no short is over 65 cents, just in case they try to test $1 level for avoid the regulation.
Not only the IWM, not only small caps, but the market continuing to come down on this hotter than expected inflation data once again on the PPI side coming out at 8:30 there if anyone missed it. Luis going to be back with the guys at lunchtime today on the midday show or 1 p.m. Make sure you join them for that. Luis Barbado over in the Real Trading office in Barcelona, Spain. Good to see you as always.
Thank you very much, Brendan. See you in a while.
Yeah, we're just continuing to drop here, as Brendan mentioned. So, yeah, we're getting a reaction. It's worth putting into perspective. By the open yesterday, the Qs were at 706, right? And we did make some fresh lows. So if you go back and then you go back to the close, it's kind of around that number. So overall, there's some ways to go before it gets I'd say out of hand or out of pocket, whatever you want to call it. Like Nvidia, whatever, kind of like the prior close into the high yesterday. Like the VWAP bounce crested at almost 222, and then you had the prior close at 220. So that's the zone of interest for the dip. It's not quite there just yet. As I said, what stands out to me are the weaker type names, like the Rigettis from yesterday. the SMCIs. Like this is, like here's something. This one also sits on my ish list because V-shaped recovery and all that stuff, but it did not break past yesterday's tops. Everything else broke past yesterday's highs. So like, where's the resistance? Everything broke out resistance. It's probably turning it into support. There's an exception right there with SMCI. So I can lean to this one in this direction as well. I know we're going to go to Joe. We have some upgrades and downgrades. I suspect there's going to be some AI upgrades.
I mean, I was just going to say, like, you know, the fact that we're getting these moves down. I mean, how else? If you come over here, you check out the sticky note. How else are we going to get Nvidia 222 long? How else are we going to get an Intel 121? How else are we going to get Marvell? Like, these are all dip buy opportunities. So this is exactly what we're looking to see happen right now, right? I mean, I didn't want to yesterday write down some of the levels because it was CPI and we were uncertain, but we've already got the path to what needs to happen here today, and that is a push down, let the market settle, and then get those longs, right? And so Marvell's actually here right now at 165. So this one just dropped from 169 when we were writing the note down into 165 right now. So like, you know, it's happening early, but the NASDAQ, let's see if it winds up turning red. As I said, it's the only way to get longs if you're waiting for dip buys is to have this happen. So this to me is actually happening perfectly. We just need to wait for it to obviously open up and see where this real volume starts to come in. I mean, I think these are all going to get bought up almost immediately. We just need to wait for, again, you know, the market to settle itself down. I mean, it's always a risk taking it with a lack of liquidity here in the pre-market. So, you know, watch out for some of these names. If Nvidia gets anywhere near that 222, I'll probably pull the trigger if it happens here in the pre-market. I mean, unless there's some kind of a story, I don't think that's going to happen at all. That was more of a pipe dream play, so we'll have to wait for that. And then I wrote down the NASDAQ, the TQ specifically at $75. We're halfway there now. We started the day, well, more than half, or 2/3 the way. We started that call at 76.50. Now you're down to 75.20, and we just bounced off 75, almost 75 flat. So that was the call right there. So, you know, that's working out. Marvell at 165. I'm not going to take it, but that's the call there. It printed 165. Now it's printing 165.70. So, you know, these names are going to get bought up with this NASDAQ. We just got to wait to see. It's not worth stepping in. You saw yesterday we took a hit on Microsoft real early. We got in like the first couple minutes as it was tanking down, and that was too early, right? So you got to wait for these things to settle down. Joe at the screen, give it to us.
All right, guys, let's take a look at some of the analyst actions this morning. We're going to kick things off with some downgrades. And at the top of our list, we have Serve Robotics getting the downgrade, guys, going from a buy to a hold with an $18 price target from Freedom Broker. Still slightly positive this morning. And then we have Under Armour, Steph Curry exiting their partnership, also offloading all of his shares. You're still positive, going from a buy to a hold and a $6 price target. Advanced Micro Devices, surprisingly so, getting the downgrade, guys. Going from a buy, but still an outperform here, increasing its target from $250 to $500, still slightly positive. And then Snap, getting the downgrade, guys, going from a buy to a hold with a $7 price target from Freedom Broker. Moving forward, we'll take a look at some more positive things here. Johnson & Johnson getting the upgrade, going from a market perform to outperform with a $265 price target by Lee Rink. And then also TD Bank, Raymond James giving them the nod, market perform to outperform. And then we also have Wendy's, a name that we've been talking about quite often here, finally getting some positive momentum behind it. Hold to a buy with a $12 price target, and then Mosaic getting the nod as well too, going from sector perform to outperform with a $27 price target by RBC Capital. Send it back to Neil and Sean.
I feel like with Wendy's, you're just maybe you're banking on the Peltz thing there more than an upgrade or downgrade. Because yesterday the story was that Nelson Peltz was securing financing for a potential bid into Wendy's. Actually gave up the entirety of the move, and then much like the market, did a bit of a V-shaped recovery. Now it's just sort of sitting sideways. I guess it can be on your radar for that, as maybe kind of a breakout trade, or keep your ear to the ground, because if you get any further rumors, that probably has another spike in it. But you want to hear an update on that news. I mean, that the AMD. I don't want to chuckle at the move from buy to market outperform and catching up. There's going to be analysts that have to catch up, right? Like it was the 250 to 400 in context isn't as ridiculous. So 500 isn't as ridiculous as it seems, because as of 1 month ago, like they were right at the price. So really, when you think about it, a month ago these guys were saying 250, and it was at 250, and now they've raised it to 500. It's still technically a bit bullish on AMD, if we're really thinking about it. But at the same time, a lot of analysts have had to do a lot of catch up in this space.
So Katina Capital with Special Advisor Joe has now put a potential neutral rating on Oscar Health. So we've just gone absolutely. I mean, this is the reason why I'm talking about this is I noticed it in the account yesterday as I was looking at it. This name has definitely gone, to the upside a lot more than I had sort of realized. Did not even really notice what was happening right here. So we're gonna have to go bang, 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 bang on Oscar. I mean, this has been a name that we've talked about many a times down in here into the low teens. Was able to pick it up pretty much every time it's come in here. We only got out one time, and that was back into here when we saw this move happen. Nice upside play. We didn't take it out. We've been in this name probably for about a year and a half or so on Oscar. This move we didn't. I don't think I got any out that time, but definitely got some out that second time. And right now, this is why we got to stamp it right now as a neutral or a hold right now from this side. Just because of where we are, $23 right there for OSCR. So we'll watch out for that one, see if it does pull back just a little bit right now with Oscar. So yeah, so far so good here. We'll wait to see what winds up happening, but good little run there for Oscar Health. As we saw UNH, there was just some sort of a story there about UNH. Started to head to the downside a little bit, but still $400 for this name, a great one. I mean, what a great battle back this name has had as well. Forget about Oscar Health. This was 250, 260, 290, up to $400 right now is UNH. So what a monster trade that would have been to be in UNH. But we're going to relook at our Oscar and get a little bit out here today, and then put the rest on a neutral or hold for Oscar. So OSCR has been a good name. My next thing to go is IoT. So we're going to wait to see if Samsara can get going as well. This has not really done anything. If anything, it's been pulling back a little bit here, IoT. So I actually like this name as well as another little AI sort of play here with IoT. So we'll wait to see what they wind up doing. And then Tesla today as well should be on some people's minds. This has been just an active name. Not really, it's not on our watch list today, or really no stories hitting about Tesla, but I think that this could be another name that's really gone sort of off the rails here from its 50-period moving average all the way to 440. We'll see what winds up happening there. And then we've already talked about a lot of these chip names. Marvell bouncing off that 165 as we wrote down, still more to come there. Intel down to 123, and the market trying to hold positive right now. Did the ES go red? Yeah, the ES went red. So the ES is now down 0.7, just a little bit there. And will Eli Lilly today finally break again above that 1,000? We had a nice $40 move yesterday on Eli Lilly from 950 up to that 1,000. And then look at this, man. We just stopped right there. That's now like, this is a pretty, this is my biggest non-tech holding. Want to get some more into J&J. We talked about that, but this break right there of 1,000, it's been wanting to do it now for a week. So let's wait to see if it winds up going.
I want it to be again. It was, for the longest time, it was my biggest non-tech holding, and then ish just happened in Caterpillar.
Yeah, I think
the Caterpillar and GEV just started going ridiculous mode, and really, it literally bounced 700 to like 9,000, which is good, but it hasn't done a lot since. The headline that's moving healthcare stocks here, it's just U.S. halting Medicare enrollments for new home healthcare and hospice providers. I think that's coming out of Reuters. So right back to where it was before. I don't know. Again, that's the headline. UNH seems to have shrugged that one off after dropping a couple of dollars in there. So maybe not that big of a deal. At least want to make sure we get that to you guys out there for sure. I know there's some small cappers that's moving around a little bit. But yeah, the Nasdaq catching a bit of a bid. I also noticed we've regained Bitcoin, I shouldn't say, Bitcoin regained the 80,000 level here. We got up to like 79, it looked like 79.9 or so, but we're back above 80,000, held yesterday's low, so that's starting to come back into favor. And then looking over at the metals, obviously, if we're gonna have the numbers rolling around. The U.S. dollar did make a slight pullback there and then bounced. SLV, or silver, I should say, is holding off of the low. So it didn't bounce as nicely as Bitcoin did. But if you go back to where this broke out in the afternoon, it was down at 77. So this has like a dollar to go before you get to the afternoon support, resistance type area. So a little patience is going to be required today. Although Bitcoin bouncing, things still trying to even themselves out from that number that we got just 20 minutes ago, everybody. So there's a heck of a lot to look at. And what was different about yesterday was it felt like a short before even thinking about the long. I feel like when the market opens up today, I don't know, even if you favor short, I'm not sure what's at really good short levels. Would you want to short some of those bottoms? That's sort of the issue, I think, that comes in. JKL with another super chat. Let's throw it up there. I had the news thing on, so I don't know if you can get that there, Andre. Thank you. Long Nvidia 230 target. Jensen abroad. Yeah, for a couple of days he is, and then he comes back to tell us how great the earnings were. And I think there was some sort of industry thing that he was skipping. But, you know, he goes wherever the heck he wants. Someone was saying that yesterday that, well, he has this other thing he's supposed to be speaking at. Well, when the president calls, you make the move. So you like the long. I probably, because if it's not off of the prior close in the afternoon, call it the afternoon resistance, the VWAP bounce could only get that far. I guess the prior high we're bouncing or attempting to bounce off here on Nvidia. When you take the stairs up, it's not always parabolic, right? So I think today, as long as it holds a higher low, you're still looking pretty good on Nvidia. I just like to see it. If it's long here, then I'd wait till the open personally, because I still like this entire target area, the 220 into 222. Like that's the zone of interest for myself. But I still believe in the long for Nvidia. And I don't know that Jensen. Okay, great, he's going as well. I don't know how much that matters for me. Understandably, I think they want Nvidia. The administration wants Nvidia to win. So whether he's there or not, I think the goals are going to be the same. It's an optics thing. Like he only really invited him because everyone was freaking out that he wasn't going. Like that's why it's happening. And ultimately, does it really, really matter if he's there for the 2 days? But fine, you take the gap up and take it as it is. But I think realistically, the goals were all aligned anyways. And the earnings next week just need to blow it out the water like they always do. The real question becomes, will the market actually even be impressed? So recently, we keep seeing these big numbers, and nobody cares. Oh, and before we go back to this, there's one more, because, hey, Alibaba right back into some of those lows. So that was looking very good. Like, that was looking like it was a V-shaped recovery after their slight miss, and we'll get into them. But Baba's got some support at the 129. I don't know if it gets all the way down there to retest a couple of weeks ago that support level, but that would be the big one if it gets down a little bit further. So not everything is pulling back into prior highs. Like you have some stocks that are going to be under pressure. Baba would be one of them today.
All right, yields worth noting here, back to highs this morning. 52-week highs, in fact, for the 10-year on the back of that note, or the data that came out there at 8:30. Highest level since all the way back last summer, essentially. We got up to 4.488 on the 10-year. 30-year back above 5 was yesterday, and now taking out highs as well. So, I mean, these yields are getting to a point where we haven't been here a long time.
Yep. And
the market is essentially saying we don't buy this inflation story.
Yeah, it's going to put pressure on housing. It's going to put pressure on mortgage demand. So we'll have to keep an eye out on that. Obviously, the rate cut scenario we know is basically none for the end of the year. So we'll have to see if Kevin Warsh throws a bit of a variable in there, Brendo.
Yeah, and whether or not the narrative at least continues that we've been hearing out of the Fed for the past 2 years, it seems like, of it's time to cut. Dollar back to the upside. I mean, it was higher on that number initially, 98.6 here on the DXY, 2 days in a row on a bounce as well. So, I mean, overall, market downside, yields up, dollar up. Going to be one of those days where we have to keep our eyes out.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on gold as well. Now that the dollar is strong, possible metals move today. So look for any inverse plays that inversely correlated with the dollar. That should be quite interesting, but we'll have to wait and see if this has an effect on trade. We've been talking a lot about some of these Forex headwinds for some of these companies, and with a stronger dollar, it could be quite interesting. You know what I was bringing up? I brought up an interesting point with Joey, and I did a little bit of research after. So think about these stablecoin holders, USDC Tether, right? The bill that was introduced into the Senate or into Congress last year mandated that they hold either US dollars or shorted dated treasuries as an offset for any USDC or Tether that was printed. So my question to Joey on the midday was, do they become big enough buyers of these treasuries that they basically put a cap on the yields? Because we know the price of the treasury is inversely correlated with the yield, right? So if you keep buying these treasuries, then it suppresses the yield. So I was looking at see how much they were buying. Not even close to what Uncle Warren is buying. That's currently, though, Randall. If they take more of the market share, it's going to have an effect on the short end of the curve. So we're talking the 6 months, the one up to 2 year. So we could see artificially depressed yields on the short end of the curve because of these stablecoin issuers.
But like when the popularity of that and the volume, this pure volume they had would have to do would be monstrous too.
It would have to be.
To make that an impact. I mean, we've talked about in depth. I mean, Europe, China, always the largest holder of U.S. debt. And Japan as well. We mentioned this yesterday. Silver as well had a pretty big day. Back to $80. I was reading a note last night from an analyst talking about this $80 level on silver. Got to go all the way back to the beginning of the year. We broke down, and then it held just beneath that $80 level for, it seemed like weeks and weeks and weeks. Tested above, tested below, tested above, tested below. Here we are back again. I mean, it's forming this tight range around this area. Maybe this is the catalyst that gets this thing going again after that epic run at the end of last year. And
well said. Well said. I think I don't know, the boys can look at this a little bit more thoroughly, but for me, anyway, on the technicals, there's that $85 staunchy level that we haven't been above. It's a local area high. As we work up to 80, as you mentioned, that's obviously a key area of technical resistance, but I perceive this as lower highs. I mean, we had that breakthrough 100 into 110, and we've been basically putting in lower highs since that time. Let's see if we can push up above 80.
We shall see. One to keep an eye on, though, guys, if we get another push in these yields again today and the dollar continues strong.
Well, in fairness, I understand that SLV is lower highs. It did a parabolic move and then unwound the parabolic move. So, like, since the unwind of the parabolic move, that's also a reverse head and shoulders. Support, wipe out bottom, higher support, and then we're trying to break out. So, like, I like this for an upward trend ever since that, wipe out bottom. So I still would stay bullish over there on SLV, just on a day-to-day basis, right? Like yesterday, it was able to hold a low and obviously go. There was like a minor breakout. So looking back, it's like this consolidation area or this equilibrium back at 77 makes some sense to me. We got some super chats to get through we actually missed out on. By the way, thanks to everybody. Like last night, I think we had well into the double digits of super chats in the afternoon show and lots of great questions and talk there. The Mount Rushmore discussion was a lot of fun. Well, that's not the one I thought. I think we missed one from Nick. We'll get to Nick. I saw yours as well. We'll definitely get to that. But David, so why is Meta there? Have no business in China. Meta big boys. The big boys got money and they got influence. Again, like my point is like there's a lot of optics that goes on with who to bring and who you trust and who you're talking to and this and that. That's politics. And ultimately, I don't think it matters as much as the market makes it out, like who's there, who isn't there. So I think that's a lot of it's phooey to me. We had this one from Nick. So Nick was asking us, there we go. Nick was asking about AEM. There's one I'm surprised. You like some American Eagle? They got a new ad coming out? You're taking a short in AEM. You mind giving your thoughts? Isn't the short float huge on this? Let me just double check this because it was double digits the last time we checked them out. Definitely for sure. So I'm just gonna quickly double check them. It's got support, but it's got support off the 200 period moving average. I get an idea of what you're looking at. I've never swung any short anything in my life. Oh, it's like Niko. Never mind.
Yeah.
I was going to say, yeah, it's like Niko. Never mind. In my brain, I'm like, I'm going the wrong place. Okay, so like Niko, I would not favor, in my opinion, when something is holding the 200 period moving average, I tend to like it until it breaks. And that is absolutely holding a lot of respect for the 200 period moving average. I suppose you're trying to get in before it breaks, and then you lose a lot of contain if that were to happen. Because when was the last time we're under? January of 2024. Yeah, a breakdown there would be pretty significant technically, and I guess you'd want to get out in front of it. But it's still support. I like to give uptrends the benefit of the doubt as long as they want to hold. And that 200 period is a big one for sure. Dave, of course, as always.
We got another one here. The wishful manifestation of the day. Okay, please, oil dieties, bring it down below 100. Yeah, so if you're on a diet, you might not want to have too much oil in your system.
Deities, I think.
Yeah, deities, yeah. Bring it down. I don't even know what that word is. Deities?
Like gods, like the
oil gods. Yeah. Okay, yeah, makes sense. I was going to say you don't want to have this diet situation. Bring it down to $100 this AM. Okay, well, we can have a look over there in the CL contract.
I forget the last part.
Well, yeah, what did the last part?
He says Mike Peter Ryder, Sunny in chair. I don't get that part.
Right now we're 102 and change, so we'll see if it can come back in right now. It looks like it is starting to fall back just a little bit there for oil. And I think you're right, man. You're getting right about that $100 level there. Looks like it's going to be something to talk about if you do get that breakdown. I think you're onto something there. But again, like that's such a hard trade right now, just based on, it's such a news situation that I'm not sure technically it wants to come back down yet, but we'll wait. $100, good level there for Dave. And then, yeah, silver, silver wants rate cuts. I mean, this is any commodity, right? Not dividend paying, nothing like that for silver. So, as the rates start to spike up a little bit, which is what's going to happen, I can really see silver get going again. I think silver does have a nice run to it again coming up, just because of what I just mentioned there. If rates continue the talk of rates will eventually, I'm hoping, calms down. But if the CPI keeps getting a little higher, we had PPI today, seems like they will be raising interest rates at some point. So for me, silver breaking out requires lower rates, right? Not higher rates. So I'm not sure silver wants to break this $80 mark, but we're going to have to wait to see VWAP 200 period here. This is just on the 1 minute chart, but you have supported $60 nicely. And then we broke above 70 on the daily chart. So yeah, I mean, generally speaking, if you can get 4 or 5% in cash with these raised rates, silver doesn't look as attractive anymore. But if these rates can start to tick that little lower, then maybe silver does have that big move once again to the high side. So I think that's the only thing, in my opinion, that's holding silver down. So if it can go without rates, then that's even better because eventually, I guess, with Warsh in there, I think the idea is to get these rates down. But the economy right now doesn't give us that sort of vibe. So
part of what made yesterday so impressive for SLV, it had one of the most insanely bullish charts on a day where the odds of rates going higher increase. I mean, ever so slightly, I suppose, because we were at 32 or 33%, I think, at the point of the CPI print. And now if you go out to December, you're looking at 39% or so. So, but yeah, about 39% chance that we get that rate hike. So it is increasing, and not by a lot, but those odds went up, and I can't imagine it's going anywhere but slightly higher after the PPI print as well. We've got one more super chat when we get to the desk, and it's about Wix. Just if we can throw that last one up there. This one, I believe, from TikTok, and thank you very much. Wix down 20%. It's not? Okay, so it's YouTube as well. J3. Wix down 20%, looking for reversal, not sure where to support. This is a falling knife. It's broken through all support on the daily. All you can do is look at the technicals. You zoom further out. Well, if it can't bounce here, the 2022 low, it just broke this support at about $58 in 2022 low. There's some wick support down here. See what we did? At 53. And then that also corresponds with 2027 lows. So 2017, my bad, 2017 lows. So if you don't hold here, there's a bottom that was there previously at $53. Yeah, falling knife with this, and not a lot of liquidity on Wix. You're talking day trade. This is done about 300,000 shares. So holding a level becomes very subjective on a 1 and 3 minute chart. Like you're probably talking about it jiggling around for a couple of dollars before it holds on a day trade because there's no liquidity on the stock. The spread is going to open up pretty precipitously. But yeah, it's already at the levels where you'd be hoping and praying at $53. And it has every indication that it wants to get there. Got a lot to get to. We're going to get back up to the desk, talk some earnings, get into our free watch list, everybody, which we're going to get into now.
738 and a quarter is where we closed out yesterday on the SPY, with the overnight high being that 740 level. So we've been talking about 740 as that key area of initial resistance. We'll continue to do so until it is cleared decisively. We are below the closing print. Well, actually, we're above it, having retraced here on the SPY up 0.04. So R1 is 740. If we start selling off, we're looking for 735 as support level 1. If the market really digests this PPI print in a negative way and we sell off, Brenda, we're looking at 730 as support level 2.
Well, big day ahead potentially here with headlines coming out of China. If you haven't done so yet, jump down below in the description. Second link down there will get you to the sign-up page for the watch list. Super easy. All you need is your email address. You get that sent to your inbox every day. Has everything you need to know on it in the pre-market. Then you come join us at 8 o'clock. This is a terrible picture, but proof. He's there in the corner, kind of. Half cut off, but both Elon and Jensen in the building, or in the country, I guess, at the airport. Meet and greet underway here in Beijing. So, I mean, nothing has obviously happened yet, but the schedule said after the arrival at the airport, there wasn't going to be much until tomorrow. And then there's a big state dinner planned and lots of communication back and forth between the two. So whether or not anything happens during today's equity session in the U.S., potentially not.
There's really good reasons that he's going to China.
Sure.
Some deep research here. The administration is reportedly pivoting, if you believe the reports, to a remote compute model. This would allow Nvidia to sell its H200s to Chinese firms like ByteDance and Alibaba with a firmware lock. So what exactly does that mean? It would mean that the chips would be managed by a U.S.-controlled cloud gateway and prevent the hardware from being repurposed for military modeling. Obviously, a major concern for a lot of the anti-export GPUs to China in the U.S. government. But there's also rumors that President Trump wants to create a board of trade between China and the United States, much like he did with the Board of Peace. Trump is reportedly discussing the creation of this new board of trade and investment with President Xi. And by bringing Jensen along, Trump is signaling possibly that Jensen will likely chair or hold a permanent seat on the board. And then thirdly here, a lot of deep value kind of investors, Guru Focus, one of them, focus on Nvidia trading below intrinsic value, trading at about $220 rather than what they believe the actual value to be, about $323 at current revenue. And the reason is because there's a China blackout. Can't sell anything to China. 20% of the revenue, let's not forget, was coming from China until about 3 years ago. The guesstimation here by these deep value analysts is that a resumption of the Chinese market adds $12 to $15 billion in annual revenue, and that would bring it up closer to the intrinsic value.
Unbelievable. It came in a couple of bucks here on this inflation data this morning, guys, but overall, not bad here for NVIDIA this morning.
2% is pretty good.
I mean, I love NVIDIA this morning.
1.75 versus a NASDAQ that's at 0.4.
And this is billions of dollars, right?
Yeah.
2%. Yeah.
But the thing is, NVIDIA 2% is like a lot of other names that we'll look at 10%, right? Like that's just how it's going to be going for sure. But you know what? This portion of the show, the watch list, all of it brought to you by Gemini. Because if you think you know where Bitcoin is going to close this week, or who wins in 2028 in the elections, or how good GDP is going to be, then don't argue about it and trade it. Gemini predictions have yes or no markets on crypto, commodities, politics, sports, and much more. Now featuring 15-minute and 5-minute crypto markets so you can trade the action in real time. Set your amount, you can see your odds, and get paid when you're right. Open an account at Gemini.com or scan the QR code for more information there. Shout out to Gemini. And look, we've talked a couple of times about NVIDIA. Where you end matters more than where you start in the markets. Late money is more important because it holds overnight in theory. And basically, we had two prior closes at higher lows around the 220 level. So that's the first place. And then we had the afternoon VWAP run that we were looking at yesterday. That got to 222. So that gives me a target zone. I just want to buy into that dip here for NVIDIA. NVIDIA's playing the catch-up game right now. Everyone else got their turn at bat, and NVIDIA's coming in and hit cleanup and sort of take us through and do a little bit of the load lifting that it hadn't done before, I think. And for them, like we said, the 2% is like a 5% or more on some of these other stocks, which just are not as big. So I do like the long there. Nothing, I mean, I don't really have anything bad to say about like NVIDIA or AMD, sorry. Like their chart's gonna be similar. There's only one AI stock that even sets up for a short. And SMCI, if it does the same pattern as yesterday, where you fail the pre-market high here at 33.4, you just pop and fail, then I'm going to look for this one as a fade. They've just been built differently for bad reasons. And if there is a red day, then this is the one I would be looking at. But it is that very particular setup that we saw yesterday, eventually getting to $31. I don't know if it gets that low if the market dumps. But certainly that 33.5 zone. Pop and fade, you fail that high, let it make that topping tail wick, and then jump on in.
All right, man, we've already, we've gone over this. If you guys are looking for the note here today, it's a pure risk-on note. We've talked about this over and over again. I'll put it into the chat here. It's NVIDIA 222 long. I mean, we nailed that. I mean, Marvell hit, but it was just early down there at 165, Intel at 121, and then the Qs with a dip buy as well. Most of these levels hit except for NVIDIA and Intel so far here today, so we'll put that there in the chat, and you guys can have a quick look at it. But yeah, coming back in, it's going to be the top trade for me today. Hopefully, we are able to hit a home run with that play today. You know, Marvell was, so that's 222. We're just going to wait to see if it comes into yesterday's sort of top right there. That's why we look at that. Marvell, we wrote down 165. The low was 165 exactly. Now it's at 168, so that's $3 already in the pre-market, but risky to take it, but at least we know we have got a level there now of 165 for Marvell. And then I really like Intel today as well, down there at 121. This one didn't hit, but we'll see if that can come into this level one more time as well. So, I mean, I like all the chip names. We're going to talk about some of the memory plays, but hey, it's like, did you able to buy that dip yesterday? It's funny because what a difference a day makes. Yesterday's sticky note, we had written down Intel short. And we had this short yesterday, right? So it's just a matter of like making sure that you change up your game plan day to day. And that's all about, see, these are all the short, like look, today, this was NVIDIA going down. We try to chase that long. Here's Marvell yesterday, 169 short. There's 161 covers, right? That's $8. So yesterday we were hunting shorts. Shaq says, ooh, spicy NVIDIA long over there. And there's yesterday's Intel short, right? 127. So we just got a completely different day there today. Here's the short, whoosh, all the way down. It went to 117 yesterday on that play as well. So, you know, just stay, stay with everything and, you know, keep focused on what you're trying to do, and hopefully good things will happen. Here's that 121 level there on INTC. So we'll see if that does play. Bouncing right now off 122. Look, man, bad PPI number. Not bad, but hotter than expected. Sends the market to the downside. We saw something similar yesterday with CPI, and today we get rewarded with a bad PPI number, which just gave us some dip buy opportunities. Let's see if it holds out right now as this market continues to grind higher off those lows. So yeah, man, we are excited to hit some of these longs today. Very much a risk-on day for me until something changes, and stay tuned, because if it does, you'll hear me flip over into the short. Memory stocks, man, SanDisk and everything continues to impress. Let's go find out why.
Yeah, this Samsung, we were talking about this yesterday, this Samsung, or potential Samsung strike, really adding to the fire here, gasoline on the fire potentially. I was just reading a note on some of these new RAM or DRAM related memory focused ETFs.
Yep. Oh.
DRAM, the ticker of this one, up 90% in a couple of months. People getting away from focusing on the individual names and finding other ways of expressing this trades. I mean, these things are comical, just absolutely parabolic since its debut, just going back a couple of months ago. So all kinds of demand, potential for more. Micron continuing to do well.
Yeah, Joey's the largest holder there of DRAM. I discovered that one a couple of days ago. Shout out to him. You bring up a fantastic point. Samsung obviously having some issues there. If their fab shuts down, prices are just going to skyrocket even more. It's not a good look. for anybody, really. Let's talk about the Bank of America angle today, because they took a positive note here on Micron, raising the price target to $950, up from $500, and I have the reasons why. Bank of America, they abandoned their traditional cyclical valuation for Micron. They are now valuing it exclusively as an HBM business, separately separately from the sustainable AI growth. And that segment alone, if you believe their analysis, accounts for about $240 per share. Just that segment right there. That's number one. Number two, this vendor tool rotation. So Bank of America is taking the position that the ASMLs, the LAMs, the AMATs, they will underperform the memory names. They're saying the chip names are going to take more of the AI dollars than the tool makers. That could be some rotation out of that. And last but not least, they have this 256 gigabyte DDR5 module, and it's built on this 1 gamma technology. The good thing about this is it reduces the power consumption by up to 40%. And where power in the data centers is a key bottleneck, this could give them a competitive moat. Good look here for Micron.
It's never ending, it seems, on the demand side anyways. I mean, a very, very clean level of resistance, top end of the pre-market range here for Micron to look at today, already back above 804. That was quick.
Absolutely. And Sharif, you would have been interested in the conversation. Joe and I, we did like an AI Mount Rushmore and trading. One of the decisions was, okay, well, it was pretty easy putting in like Nvidia and Alphabet in there was pretty easy. But the decision was, would you put Micron on that, or would you put something like an ASML? And that's not an easy one. Like, do you put a tool maker in there, or do you put or do you just get them both and maybe ignore energy? That could have been something you do as well. It's a fun exercise, but I tend to agree. You've seen less parabolic nature in some of the equipment companies there, whether it's AMAT, whether it's LAM, whether it's ASML. They have not been performing as parabolically. Look, if we don't break out, if Micron doesn't break out the highs, then it's probably going to require some patience. It was a pretty big double top at the 820 level. And you want to see it consolidate higher. Consolidations in an uptrend are good, so higher lows going into a flat top break is certainly positive. And I like Nvidia today, and it'll be that and SMCI in the chip space that I'm looking to trade. But realistically, this is very similar in the support. The theoretical support comes right back into the prior close at that 770. Like, this goes dipping. 3% is nothing on Micron. It's up 5 right now. Like, you can easily do that. It's been parabolic. Like we said, Nvidia moving 2 is like these guys moving 5 or 10. And this is just a little bit better on the chart than SNDK, whereas like it's pressing in the top end of the range and the highs, whereas SanDisk is a little bit relatively weak. So if you're putting these into different buckets, I would venture to say that Micron's the one that looks a little bit more bullish today with that potential breakout, and SNDK, I don't want to call it bad. It's up 3%. It also bounced. It's been parabolic. It's just a little bit better from Micron so far. The thing that we have not been talking about as much and was pretty flat yesterday, which is still a bit of a theme, is going to be oil prices as we go back to the desk. Talk a little bit of oil. Okay.
Yeah, we were just talking about this list. The White House just publishing the official list of who is with President Trump. 16 companies representative, anywhere from Tesla, Nvidia, Apple, obviously, BlackRock, Goldman, Citigroup, Boeing, MasterCard, Visa, GE, Micron, Qualcomm CEOs there, Illumina, Coherent. All, 15 of the 16, all are the CEOs. There's one company that did not send their CEO, and that is Meta.
Maybe he's training for a cage fight. I have no idea. No, but like what I was telling you off camera, I was telling Brendo off camera. I mean, Meta doesn't obviously have a presence in China, but they do get a lot of advertising dollars. A lot of the Chinese sellers who sell in North America are spending advertising dollars with Meta. So it probably behooves them, to have some sort of good relationship.
I mean, just to be in that room, you would think you would, take the opportunity at least to do that. But yeah, really interesting. All right, oil, as we said early on this morning, kind of chopping around here in the pre-market. It was downside early on. We're back to the upside this morning. I mean, 102 on WTI. Brent hit 108 early on. We're heading in the wrong direction, it seems, over in the Middle East.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. And now with the focus shifting, I wonder what's going to happen today. We'll see. We'll have to keep our eye on On the headlines, there's a couple of things that I want to bring from the oil angle today. OPEC raising the 2027 global oil demand growth to 1.54 million barrels per day, and that is markedly higher than the 1.34 that they were basically forecasting. In addition to that, we saw the Saudis come out today, about an hour ago, tops, basically saying that their oil production is the lowest level it's been since 1990, essentially Iraq War #1. This is going to be an interesting development, Brenda. We're already seeing it in CPI and PPI.
Yeah, we're creeping back to the upside once again here, guys, for oil. So one of those things. We need to see a resolution, I think, before we get any kind of, finality to these prices.
True, but I also think if we're going to hold this range that we had yesterday, we get to trade on our own right now, right? It's not good that we got gap back up here. I'm not going to pretend that that's a positive thing, but you know what? It was a $2 range, 142.5 to 144.5 on US. So we're right back in the middle of that range. So there's lots of ways that, let's say you like longs, there's breakouts. There's breakouts that pull back into the volume-weighted average price. There's dip buys into support. There's mean reversions where a trend break off of not a significant level, but it breaks a downtrend on whatever time frame, and you get long that way. The other one could simply be, well, if this is the range that we're sitting in, and USO breaks down underneath that range, that can just be a momentum break on a leading indicator. Could potentially be an area to look for long. That's probably the only interest I have in oil is if we break out and close candles beneath 142.5 or above 145 on USO. Closing candles above 145 would mean in that moment, I probably wouldn't want to be looking for long entry points because that would be a bad sign. And if we're breaking down underneath, it's like, yeah, that might be a good place to start something because you have some acceleration potential. So that's where I'm at with oil. I liked it. It was kind of good that we were sideways, really. Like you didn't have to, there were no headlines you really had to worry about, and you weren't worried about it breaking out tops and busting lows. It was, haven't had that in a while.
Oh, and that's kind of what I'm saying before about some of these names like an XOM or CVX or something like that. Like you just get, and I was looking at it and we talked about this, I think it was mid last week or something. We talked about this dip down. Yeah, I guess it must have been because now we're back up a little bit there. But oil still remains pretty strong and I don't really see it coming down anytime soon. Down fine, but down dramatically. These companies like an ExxonMobil and CVX, obviously they got going. They all did. I mean, I'm just picking on them. But we can check out Valero or anything, Schlumberger, whatever. They all really started to go to the upside and now just fell back in. So I do think there's some sort of value buying an XOM, a CVX, an SLB, all the way up at these side. That's Schlumberger. Oops. Wait a minute. I thought SLB was Schlumberger. No, I can't remember. I'll have to look that back again. But anyways, a name like a Valero or anything, there's tons of names in this space. Actually, Valero did not come back in there yet. No one's put it in the chat what that symbol is yet. But back into 230, 240, 220. So actually, Valero's still holding up pretty high. There's a gas company. It's not SPL. Or is it? Enbridge, ENB, has been a good one. This is a pipeline name, huge here in the United States. Pretty big in the Northeast and whatnot. You guys, those of you that know Enbridge, and this gives about a 7 or 8% dividend as it continues to get higher there into $55 right now. This looks like this could break out. It's been, relatively high in this range as well. So look out for Enbridge, and that's why I went over to Valero, some of the refiners, instead of just the pure plays like an ExxonMobil, and they're not a pure play to the same extent as they used to be now with green energy and everything like that. So just check out some of these other names if you're interested in them. And remember, oil, holding oil being by itself doesn't actually pay you anything, but a name like an Enbridge or some of these other hosts, CVX, XOM, so on and so forth, will pay you, that 3 or 4% in Enbridge in and around 7%. Maybe it's a little bit less now with the appreciation of the stock price. So, all right, 923 right now. CoreWeave, actually, we talked about this earlier. Great bounce off of $100. It's still going higher with Nebius earnings, right? So CoreWeave and Nebius, this compute power continues to be in demand. Let's go find the story.
Yeah, nice pop, as you mentioned there, off the lows from yesterday, first of all, going into the close, and then on the back of the story this morning for NBIS. But I mean, if you zoom out, still a long way to go, obviously, for CoreWeave, but it's a good start.
Yeah, absolutely. Could be running in sympathy with Nebius, obviously, but it has its own headlines today. Let's get to them. Argus raising the price target on CoreWeave from 130 to 150. Citi maintaining coverage with a buy rating and boosting the price target nominally here from 155 to 158. But let's get into the reasons why they're upgrading or boosting the price target. Jane Street connection here. The upgrade by both of these research firms kind of highlights the impact and the strategic partnership that CoreWeave has with Jane Street. If you don't know what Jane Street is, just look into it. Very, very interesting prop trading firm. By securing specialized financing through the high-frequency trading giant, CoreWeave has lowered its cost of capital. Not a bad thing. And then they also have this new software called Sunk Anywhere. What is this? Citi specifically highlighted it in their analysis. They said it's a proprietary software layer that allows AI workloads to run seamlessly across any type of cloud provider. So you don't have to worry about exactly which one you're running on. It's basically seamless there. And then they're going to be the first as well to run the Vera Rubin architecture, NVIDIA's latest chip. They're going to get that in late 2026, so they'll have the first mover advantage there. And last but not least, Brendo, they have now surpassed over 1 gigawatts of active power. That puts them in a handful of companies around the world that actually have that kind of access to live compute. Not just in storage, but live compute.
Yeah, as I was saying, the higher time frame look here, not great for this thing still, but we are holding key levels, guys, for CoreWeave. Thoughts here?
Bit of a reverse head and shoulders, actually. If you're looking at the 15-minute, you got to hold the 110 today, but you get this looks like a wipeout bottom on many time frames. So if you hold that higher low at 110, next gap is into the 120 level. Yeah, I didn't really have this one particularly on the radar individually, but that's because of how much room it has. If the 15-minute holds, well, I call it the opening range. If the first half an hour is able to at least hold these bottoms, then it's got a lot of room to the upside. Maybe look for some like VWAP entry or something. I'll put it on the back burner because it's not near the top of the list. Yeah, but I like that. And you also, it's on top of that, it's bouncing the 200 period moving average with the 50 right underneath it. It's a couple of days, I guess, if you're into that sort of a thing, it's a couple of days away from a golden cross as well on the daily chart. Yeah, it's a pretty good looking chart here for CoreWeave. Good, healthy pullback, and now the market wants to resume, and it wants to resume with it. It probably helped a little bit along by Nebius, so you know, if Nebius, you see Nebius tanking at the open, probably back off a little bit and be patient.
Yeah, no, we talked about CoreWeave a little bit earlier today. I think this is a name where it's like it's up 20%, down 20%. It's just it's one of those names that's just a crazy opportunity to get a lot of volatility into your portfolio if you like this name CoreWeave. And for right now, this is a good sign, man. You have the 200 period and the 50 period kind of lining up for support at 100. That's why I brought this, this morning before I didn't even know it was going to really be on the rundown. But I kind of like this level here of $100. So, we bought some ARM at 200. I don't know if that's going to be any good starter position. I'm wondering about the similar thing here with CoreWeave. But again, I am so loaded with all these tech names, and they're all mega cap names, so I don't have much of the CoreWeave or any CoreWeave or Nebius, or we just got into the ARM. We got a lot of Marvell as well, as you guys know. But for right now, CoreWeave is another one of those names that's going to be on my radar. It likes to move, and hey, man, one upgrade, this thing's up 10%. You have no idea. This news in China could send this name absolutely blasting through as well. We talked about their managed infrastructure in the United States is a way that they can get those chips into China. Well, I mean, CoreWeave would definitely be able to help out with that. So yeah, I think that there's a lot of upside in CRWV. But these companies don't make any money, so it's like, if you want to give me $100 and I'll make $20 with that 100, then that's no problem. And I mean, it's just this is what's wind up happening with a lot of these names. So you just got to sort of wait, I guess, until they realize some kind of an EPS, and then we get going on that one. So Nebius is a good example of that. NBIS here today, $206. This is up, I think Sharif said it's up 400% or something. Yeah, 400%, way more than that. This was $18 a year ago today. Unbelievable, man. I mean, Microsoft's invested in this name. This is a 10-bagger in 1 year, 10-bagger. And I'm sitting here, impressed with Marvell. That's up 3 or 4 times. So yeah, anyways, to each their own. Nebius, congratulations, man. Just another one that has printed millionaires.
Let's go to Baba here quickly, a couple of minutes to go before we get this market open. Long story short, spending more on AI build out, cutting into profits here for Baba.
Yeah, a couple of good things, couple of bad things. Look, so, you know, revenue only grew 3%, but when you look at their cloud division, which is one of the biggest profitability ones, divisions that they have, 40% growth there. They also disclosed their annual recurring revenue now for AI-related products, around $5 billion, a little bit less. It kind of moves them just from being a cloud provider into a SaaS provider. So we'll have to see how they do.
Net income up 96%.
Ridiculous.
Unreal. Still downside here, guys, today for Baba.
Yeah, when it's mixed or it's not perfect, you get beat up a little bit. Then you throw in the China story as well. And Baba, there's so many other places for money to go, which have been working so well that it's hard for them to get off the schneid. There's a 129 support on the daily for them. Not much on the way located this morning. Nokia up there with a 700,000 buy. Nvidia, 200,000, very small sell there. Joby with a small sell of 200K as well. That's about it. Nvidia did not move on that imbalance. It's still hanging out 225, so we're gonna have to be a little bit patient with that. SLV, gonna have that on watch. Nowhere. Yeah, that's already bounced, so that bounced a buck. SLV bounced a buck off of 78, like that 77, a little bit better there. Bitcoin still holding the 80,000 level, but just barely. It's about to retest it at the open because it's one of the few things that is actually down on this. Ooh, it's hump day, Wednesday.
Yeah,
we
Wednesday.
get the market open right about now.
All right, so you guys know what my plan is. Chill out, relax, talk to you guys, have a good time. Wait to see if something's been hit here on our targets and whatnot. It looks like, no, Marvell's pure upside right there. I thought maybe Marvell had gone to the downside. They do not right there, but there goes Marvell upside right now through 161.70. They're hitting some targets on the pre-market high. Goes Marvell, so that's a good one. Yeah, all right, so we'll pass on that for now. Nvidia is what we were looking. I mean, that Marvell was a 165 call. That hit perfectly, but in the pre-market. So we throw our hands up in the air and wave them like they just don't care. It looks like right now. I mean, I'd get involved. I get involved too early all the time. You guys know that, but you know, a break of the high for Nvidia. I still think Nvidia goes today, only up 2%. Seems light, but we'll wait, and I don't want to get in yet. That's a 224 bounce zone there. You know, what's coming in is our yesterday's short. That was Intel. Intel's now in through to 122. Checking notes here, we got Intel at 121. When that hits, then we'll start looking over here at Intel. That's coming in actually quite aggressively right now on INTC. Maybe we don't want this after all, but here comes 121 inbound potentially there. I'm going to assume that AMD is probably heading lower as well. Alibaba's down 3%, so that's a name. We just talked about that. AMD's falling just a bit. Here comes the market back in a bit here, so yeah, we might get those dip buy opportunities that we're kind of looking for, and it might start with Intel, because here comes Intel right now into 121.50s. I'm not bidding anything, but here we go. Intel coming right into these levels.
Yeah, some of those chips are really coming down. SMCI, that won't do a pop and drop because that just dropped with some of the other chip names. Tesla just tried to break 440 and did not do so, now heading back a little bit in. What is up with Meta? Well, load, come on chart. Meta's just back and forth at 600 level. It is also relatively weak, so watch out there. The first look might be if SLV can pull back and hold on to the volume weighted average price, put in a nice little higher low. It's stronger than the overall market, at least for now. It's stronger than the overall market. If I don't get that 77 to 77.5 zone for the dip buy, I like the trend that it's already starting to put in. So that could be the first one now that I'm looking at things. Oh, and Rigetti, the quantum name's bad. Bad. Rigetti just dropped almost a full dollar. Yeah, full dollar at the open. 19.3 to 18.3 to go back into the red. It's still a short. It was a short yesterday. I don't know why I didn't have it as a short today. Probably because we were looking bullish, is my guess. But if it bounces to VWAP, like, why not? Rigetti's a dog. And that's the thing. If rates are going up, then that hurts these guys more than it hurts a lot of other people.
Yeah, exactly. We sort of talked about what we're looking for.
Forget about making money. These guys are like...
Yeah, these guys need lower rates.
Revenue.
All these guys need lower rates.
I don't mean to joke. I know people own the stock. I own a quantum name too. So
yeah, we're just talking about like what's expected, right? I mean, those guys need to have lower rates, and we talked about what that would mean for some of those other. I got a coffee coming already, so I just saw that you were looking for one.
Yeah, I'm already
right there. Lower rates better for silver is what we were looking at earlier there. Sorry, I got caught up in thinking about what name we were talking about, but it was SLV. right there. Good day for them. Up 0.4 right here for them. For silver, nice move. We'll see. Got a little bit of a build up right there. Okay, what just was reached right there? Intel just got to 120. Oh, we didn't get long there on Intel, INTC. I thought I had a bid down there on Intel, 121.25. Oh no, okay, not yet there for Intel. So that just hit 121.50 there all of a sudden and just bounced right off of that. So, hey man, maybe we do have a bid opportunity down there for Intel at 121.50. We just missed it a couple times there at 121. Let's see if Intel does come back in. Thank you so much, Randy, for that coffee. Always a great time to come through there. Yeah, those Blue Jays, these days, man. Are you going? A lot of people are going to the game around here tonight.
Yeah, tonight there's a bunch of people going.
Yeah, I am not. Busy with.
Can't miss practice.
Yeah, busy with my own
run practice
there today. Yeah. I'm really happy that
there goes
shoot. You're going to really like being.
There goes Nvidia.
Coach there, and you have many years in front of you, so that's good. So it's too bad, man. It's too bad we missed that Intel trade. What are we supposed to do about it? We also missed the TQQs, man. We were waiting for dip buys. It's still early, so let's not worry too much that we've missed anything already. But we did miss a little bit of a dip buy opportunity, that's for sure, in that initial market move down. But it's only 9:34. Yesterday we were trying to catch names on the way down, and it just kept on going down. So you gotta try to learn my lesson and be a little careful with what we're doing here again today. So we'll pay attention to it and hopefully be able to get that little dip down in that. And then of course Intel gone. CoreWeave, we talked a little bit about that earlier today as well. We can have a quick little look here at CoreWeave, see what that's doing. 110. So here's a dip buy, 113 into 110 into your 200 period moving average. Possible dip buy right there. You mentioned there was a new energy name coming. Oh, there's Nvidia, by the way.
FVRO, something like that.
Yeah, I was just looking at SMR there. But we just mentioned Nvidia today, and I was like, wow, it's a little too early to get into that, but we do like that break long. Gives you $1 on that break long there for NVDA, so that was a good one. Man, that really sucks that I missed that Intel, but what are you going to do? Hopefully it does come back in. Still very, very early days on that, but yeah, welcome to new all-time highs for everybody trading the king. It's Nvidia.
The king
is back. It was gone for a minute as everybody got nervous about what it was doing.
King wasn't gone. The king was just out hunting,
just
for
chilling.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Sometimes they like to go in the forest. They like to hunt.
Yep,
and
I like that.
Let others take care of the realm. And no, the king is back for sure
let others
on
cook.
Nvidia. If I'm not going to get Rigetti, the only thing that's actually showing a bit of a setup would be the lower high here on SMCI.
Here comes Intel. Everything's coming in pretty good now.
Nah. Let the topping tail happen. Don't stand in front of it like an idiot. Allow it to hit the 33, show it's a little bit of weakness. Now I start to see some sellers come in there and then take a shot on the offer here. It was just this or Rigetti. Man, Rigetti is a dog. I'll show you guys that one in a quick little second. Want to look for, we just had a halt. So we're going to play the short off of the 33 level here. Robinson greatness.
Ooh.
Heck, Robinson. Apple is flying high. You better believe it's flying high. It's Apple. What levels do you have to the upside? New all-time highs? Yeah, when you're breaking all-time highs, I don't use Fibonacci's. I don't have levels. I just use like measured ranges. So if the last place is bottomed on the daily chart, right? If you go from here to the high, and if that's $50, I'm like, yeah, whatever, resistance $50 from there. I just try to keep that really simple.
Yeah, we had, look, man, I don't know. We're trying to battle with this long. I just hit that siren there because we did get a piece out there on Intel. Intel actually did pretty good there. Went into the 60s, so we got out of a little bit up there in those 60s there for Intel, but it has since, okay, here it comes back again. It has since fallen back. Did I put another order there somewhere? So I have 121.95. I think I got to get something else in there because it looks like it is having a problem in and around that 60 marker. Here comes here comes Intel to the downside. Remember yesterday, it was squashed, this level. So we got to be careful as Intel dropped into the 117s or something yesterday on that play, maybe even a little bit lower. We didn't cover at 117. Boy, there it is. 115 is the low. So we got to be ready for that. Here comes 120, man. Everything is starting to target right now. Intel, here we go, man. Just dropped quite dramatically into 120.50s right now. We're going to try to see what this winds up doing. But there it is. We got to get out as it breaks through 120.25. There it goes. So downside fail on that initial play on Intel as it's coming back in. Look, we waited Good thing we didn't get too excited there at 121.50 because that would have been disastrous. But there it comes in, breaking through now 120. What's up with that? There goes Intel to the downside. We're trying to bid some Qs as well right around here. We'll take a little bit now on the TQs, but still waiting for that 75 flat trade to come in. We just miss on that one. Maybe Nvidia is also going to come in to our levels now. No, so it's just Intel that's getting a little cracked right now. We did take a long there on the Qs. We'll see if that one wants to work. We're long right now. We'll take a little bit more, but still waiting for 75 flat to come in. But yeah, this could be not great.
The market just broke lows.
Yeah. I'm on the TQs. So, but there goes Intel now down through 120. Bye Intel for now. We'll have to wait to see where this name eventually stops and maybe take the long if it battles back upside. But yeah, Intel getting hit right now, back down again. Sort of what we did yesterday.
It's not the only thing getting hit. Look, we just got that SMCI right back into the low. So it did set up that pop and fade trade off the 33. I'll try it again. We're bouncing 30.5. It already did it twice on both these candles. If it wants to do it a fourth time, 3 times. If we wants to do it a fourth time, I'll take another shot at this. I promised I would show you guys Rigetti. Rigetti went all the way down to 18.3, like 19.3 to 18.3, and now it's popping back up. This is one where I would like to short the pop, but VWAP, I'll give it more room than VWAP. I think up here to the prior low, like 18.9 to 19. Let it settle down as it tries to bounce, and as we get out of the one short, I'm looking mostly long today, so. That's like take the short station to station, but I'm looking for long. Silver just lost VWAP. I wanted this to hold, it didn't. Now we'll look for this 77.9. Got to be patient. The market's really starting to accelerate to the downside, so I want to wait for a long here to actually set up, and it might not be SLV. I thought that was one of the stronger looking charts. I was about to say Nvidia is holding VWAP, and it's not. Nvidia is losing VWAP as we speak. So I'm going to be backing off, maybe waiting for that Rigetti short to come in for me here, just a little bit higher. Super chat.
Yeah, Intel's trying to go. We'll try it again at a break of 121. Check.
Mafia.
Not XPeng? Peng? Normally we check something called XPeng.
I don't know what that is.
We could definitely have a check on that, Raphael. We will do that for you just momentarily. But right there, we'll hit a little bit of a money trade right there. It's too bad because we didn't get everything at 75. We only got 75.05s. 75.10s there, a little out there at 75.30 as here we go, man, starting to climb again. All right, so I took the Intel on the break higher now. Let's just see if it wants to work, man. It's a lot of prints on Intel these days. We'll see if we got to get some of them on the upside if we're going to make any money. So there it goes, nicely battling back now. Sorry, am I in the right stock? There goes Intel. We'll take a couple fills on this. We did lose quite nicely on it the first time, but we're battling back right now as we grab Intel back into that trade. We'll see if it continues to work out. But it's the futures right now as we go back to the futures. I feel like this is my best trade, is always looking at the NASDAQ. So there it goes, man, coming into 75. Take that long. Nice little bottom pick there. It's too bad we were looking for a little bit more, but we don't got it now. And now we just wait to see what Intel wants to do. Probably going to dump this again if it fails one more time, but we'll take the 121 long just to see if it gets a little spicier. See how it just keeps on going? Like we just ripped into the 40s and then right back down in. So although it looks like there's a lot of liquidity on this name, there is volume-wise, but these levels are pretty razor thin, man. If you miss your price, it could easily spike right back in and down and around right on you. So this is like a day maker or breaker if you're trading Intel with serious size. So be careful. I'm not using too much there. I just hit that with about 2.5 units, same amount of units both ways. So we're going to be down on Intel today unless that one really matures back up. See what I'm saying? Like right there, right into the 40s again of 121 and then smacked right back down into 120.90 there. So this just moves 60 cents on one print there for Intel. So the big guys are coming in and selling this name down over and over again. And yeah, look at that. We just got out $1 ago, 30 seconds. We just got out $1 30 seconds ago. And now it's all the way back in as the futures still holding out hope, man. Good thing we emptied out a little bit there on Intel. Dangerous name here today, INTC, that's for sure.
The market is definitely dangerous right now, although huge. Like, look at the volatility, as you were just saying. Looking for that curl on SLV, in one candle, it just puts a, forget about VWAP, it just goes like 70 pennies in a single candle. So I'll have to look for something on a bit of a dip if I can get it back into 78.5. You're not really, this is really starting to accelerate to the upside here on SLV. That Penguin, I don't know if they can be the next AMD. That sounds a little bit crazy to me on the super chat. But you know what? It's got a 24% short float, so the trend is your friend until the end when eventually it does bend. But I'm just more mad that I missed this curl on silver. There was a potential break if you just take it breaking through VWAP, which is not really what I'm looking for. I like the hold of the volume weighted average price. So I want to look to buy the dip there. It's a good thing we got out of SMCI. That just bottomed again at 32.5, but doesn't get back up to my 32.9. Like I was giving this to 33 or just slightly above. So I didn't re-enter the short on SMCI, and Rigetti didn't even come close to 18.9. Just goes right into 18.7. And again, Rigetti, such a dog, 3% down. Disappointing earnings for them when you put them in relative to the other quantum names that reported by a long shot. Maybe I just need to nibble under
Marvell's ripping.
A lot of things are going.
Yeah, so this is why
is not going though.
And wow, Marvell up 8%. What exactly is even happening right now? Okay, well, hey man, we don't feel so bad anymore about holding on to this Intel long because the swing account is swinging up huge right there right now. We're still trying to find some wins. Out a bit there on the TQs again, but we should go to Adara because there's some news here. Of course, we have President Xi and President Trump now speaking to each other. What's going on over there, Adara?
So for one here, they're not set to speak to each other, I think, until 10 p.m. our time, which would be 10 a.m. the next day in China. That's what I was seeing anyway, according to Trump's official calendar. So take that how you will. But either way here, FXI on a run to the upside, seeing reports that President Trump of the U.S. and President Xi of China are considering cuts on $30 billion worth of imports when it comes to tariffs. So they're considering tariff cuts on roughly $30 billion worth of imports. If I get more details and more specifics, I'll keep you posted. Back to you.
So, okay, interesting talk there. Yeah, so it looks like some names going, as Neil mentioned, some names not. So right now, Intel down 1% right now. I'm going to have to get out if this right there as it breaks through. So we'll have to take another loss on Intel. I mean, yesterday we hit the short, it was great. Today the short's great again, and we're long. So market definitely falling in right now. We may focus on getting a little bit more in the TQs as it's just coming in right into this level again. So watch out now as here we come, man. The market's falling in pretty nicely right there. I mean, that sounded like good news about tariffs, but maybe not.
I don't care about tariffs.
After all, we got to wait, I guess, for that little, when they talk to each other and figure out,
logical here.
Yeah, figure out what's wrong with them.
Flying.
Yeah, it's just that FXI is starting to rip.
Yeah, Alibaba is absolutely flying. Look, Nvidia is not going to hold.
Oh yeah, FXI was huge, yeah.
So you can't just hit the buy. It's all red. Like every candle is red here on Nvidia. So wanting to be bullish on it isn't going to make it bullish whatsoever. It's got to get a couple dollars down till it gets to support for me anyways. Rigetti did not hang out at VWAP nearly long enough, and I wasn't even I should have just looked at the volume weighted average price. Did not get the re-entry. The only thing I wanted short was SMCI. I liked the weakness in crypto, but it certainly wasn't all the way down. He wasn't all the way down here where I was looking to be short. Not at the low, like not way down here. Like you're breaking the lows on Bitcoin. Maybe BMNR is going to give me a chance. BMNR at V is close enough. It's one good bounce from getting to the volume weighted average price. Crypto, I don't mind being short because I think it's relatively weak. So I might try to take a run at this. I got to pay for locates. I didn't even pay for locates on this. SLVs, I was bullish on this, and it's trying desperately to hold on to VWAP and get a little bounce here, and that's higher lows. So at least this is the only thing setting up for a long entry. You get some potential higher lows being put in on SLV. Everything else is just
Apple almost touched 300.
Because Apple's Apple, baby.
Apple is Apple.
Apple
Love
is
some Apple.
Yeah, whatever. There's probably more eloquent way to have said that.
Apple is
like
Apple.
Apple has a great mode. Apple is the king of devices. Apple prints cash. Apple is a very well-run company. I don't use them. I just own them. There you go. Apple is Apple.
An apple a day keeps the bears away. It's Tim cooking over there. Michael.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely turnacing the other page right now, and that's
there you go.
Yeah. So, anyways, we'll wait. But here goes Apple right now. I mean, it's pulling back just a little bit off that 300. But yeah, there goes Apple. And wow, a little bit of a tick down there for some reason there, as many of these names starting to go just a little bit lower. We're just holding on to small pieces now, just to see basically how low can we go on this. There's our trade on the futures. Boom. Took some 75s, dropped it out for a quarter. Wow. We are getting lower right now. Intel's down to 118. So I was hoping for a 119 battle back on this again, but Intel started the day at 124. Yesterday it started the day at 127 there, and we just fell all the way basically until noon, until we got that 115 mark, and then we battled that back. But I don't know, man. I mean, yesterday 118 didn't matter. Doesn't look like it's going to matter again here today. I was trying to punch longer if we broke back above, like wanting to see some closure here on some candles. But yeah, 119 and change right now for Intel coming into play. And then like we stopped out. We were holding a piece just to see what was going on with the TQs. But yeah, man, you are way lower now. As this market, we're hoping for a battle back. It was up like 0.7, 0.8%. And right now you can see the TQQs and the NASDAQ, really getting hit back down into some levels from yesterday. So we talked, remember I was like, oh yeah, the NASDAQ could easily come back into these levels. Well, that's exactly what just happened right there. As yeah, man, more rate worries abound here, I guess, on the NASDAQ and these TQQs. So yeah, eventually, man, we're gonna have to stop out of some of these trades, even though we're holding a small piece. I was looking at 117 for Intel. I didn't think we'd get down here, but needless to say, we are. So hey, man, if you're gonna make a move, it's about now on some of these plays, as the futures look like they may be bouncing, but not one candle makes a bounce. So we gotta wait to see if there is something else activating here.
Overnight support, 29.5. Almost 29,000 even, and you're added on the ES at 74. If you're looking for anything, actually, that's not. We're past overnight support on the ES. You know what? I almost broke a rule there, anticipating the fact that the one thing I'm looking at that is holding higher lows was SLV. So just buy that, Neil. No, don't buy on the way down. Buy on the way up. So it's doing a wick candle underneath this somewhat trend line from the morning. But it lost VWAP. I shouldn't be in on the front end. I'll wait for the back end of the trade. Close holding, then jump in. See, now the buyers are coming into it. Now I want to take a shot. This 3-minute candle closes in about 1 minute. So once it gets a little bit closer to the end of this candle, going to go for the long there. I am on the offer of Rigetti, but believe me when I tell you, it's actually not going anywhere to the upside. That's like that and SMCI. Those are the two short the pop situations. I want to give some of these longs a chance to be able to go. And silver, because it's holding higher lows, once it closes, confirming this candle, I'm going to have the long where I should have had it in there. And remember, I see a bunch of people in the chat have said, hey, long sometimes on these days come in at 10, 10:30. Like yesterday, what time did we bounce?
Well, it was later than that, I think.
Yeah, like 11:20, although CPI is a bigger deal than PPI, so I would venture to say that it was a bigger negative than we had today. But the patience is sort of what I'm trying to get at here. That's why I should not have been in on the way down here in silver. If it's not going to hold the trend, then I'm waiting for the low anyways. Right? There's no rush. If we're going back to the highs, we got a long way to go.
Right, exactly. There's still lots of day left here today, needless to say. All right, we did buy a little bit of, by a significant amount, but let's just wait to see what winds up happening here, as we know how wild Intel is going to be. We did get that deal with Intel and Google, so hopefully they can battle back just a little bit now. But again, like that first little misstep is always hurting. And then there today we get Intel on the way down as we continue to watch out, see if there is an uptick here on INTC. We did also get finally into Nvidia, as we talked about the damage that we were hoping to put on in Nvidia. And again, this one actually worked. We wrote down 222 for Nvidia, so upside surprise here for NVDA. We do have the TQs back in the building here as well. We're long now at 85. We take that punch long one more time now. I don't know if that's going to be the case here for this, or murder is going to be the case that they gave me on this stock, but it is a downside play there right now for the TQs. Hopefully we can mature up just a little bit and get that market going. It's got to start with Nvidia, and hopefully that will come back into here, or Apple ripping back to the north side would be really nice as well. Take out some pressure. There we go, and get into the mid 80s, but TQs trying to battle back right now. Go, Gadget. TQQs would be nice. We just stopped there at 89 again. We're offering some 90s. See if we get that out on a little bit of a move higher there for the TQQs, but it's it's Intel for me right now. Get a little bit more out as we continue to climb here on INTC, and waiting to see if we can get something out even more here on the TQs. There we go. Nice little move higher now, as yeah, the market's finally starting to go. And there's your dollar club finally. We've had a couple reverse dollar clubs, but there it is, man. The number one trade idea on the list is Nvidia long. And as Neil mentioned, as you guys also did, Joe, how was my mouse yesterday? There it is. Oops, that's the other day. There is
think
Nvidia
he'll
right there.
that mouse.
222 long. Yeah, was he complaining?
I saw, like, if he didn't say anything, I definitely saw some moments.
Saw some
where there was
frustrations?
No, I couldn't use your mouse.
I don't think it's the mouse again, but that's neither here nor there. But anyways, I digress. I think it still is the screen.
It's two sets.
But all right, we've just made back like a huge amount. Just wish we didn't lose so much in the beginning. But it's Intel right now trying to get back up to the high side. Man, Bitcoin also, Neil, broke through 80,000. So
I don't like Bitcoin today.
Got to watch out for that one.
I think there were two places I was bearish. It was crypto and it was SMCI, and it should have been Rigetti. But crypto's, look, Bitcoin is not, it's not it. I don't care what we want to happen, it's what is happening.
Yeah.
And it's showing a relative weakness for a couple of days now. So bit of, like I said, it was a bit of a rule break getting on the wrong end, but silver puts in the higher low. Now the question is, can we get through this hump here at 78.8? So scalp into the 78.8. Want to make sure we're getting profit into the highs, into 79, I should say, as well, and then hold these higher lows. If you're going to hold the trend, then there should be good places to get back in on this bad boy. Want to just show that Micron's all the way back to VWAP, so like the weak names are coming back. I want the strong names now to go, and I consider SLV to have been strong. As long as you never broke down, you held the higher lows, just easier to go. We get a super chat here. Thomas Kondo. I've been DCA BBAI for 5 years. Oh, this is we're getting long-term thoughts. I thought usually before 10 o'clock, it's like the momentum stuff we're talking.
We are absolutely
for 5 years
right now.
thoughts.
Fucking go. All right. What's the note? Oh, Sean. Oh, what's up? Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, look, if you've been in for 5 years, I don't even know how far Big Bear AI goes. Right now, $2 plus, I'll look at it in a minute, but we got another one on right now. Bang, we went from the depths of hell right now back to positive in this market, man. We were down, doesn't matter what we were down. We were down a lot right there. We don't talk P&Ls around here, but we are down a lot, let's put it that way. And there it goes right now, right back there. So again, thanks to everybody in the chat, for kind of believing in this. And as someone in the chat also did mention, holy shit. Holy my God. Marvell also, I just heard in my ear right now, up 10%. This is a good day, man. Get ready, Mall of America. We're going to be putting some damage done on that when we get there. But there goes the TQs, man, now ripping to the high side as well. We're well up on all these names now, man. It just took a minute. We thought it was a risk-on kind of day. Unfortunately, the market really gave that up on that PPI. But yeah, man, I mean, Big Bear AI, I like the name. I don't think it's right now. We've talked about it. They did have good earnings. They didn't turn that EPS around. But yeah, good so far there on BBAI. If you've been in this for 5 years, man, I mean, this is 81 cents. You've had some nice moves higher there. I didn't even really consider all this stuff that's going on over there right now. Marvell being mentioned as a possible S&P addition, so it's about time for that one. So I don't, look, I like that news, but I don't love that news, right? I mean, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I like to see it happen first, and then we'll worry about it. But yeah, for right now, that's Marvell. And here comes the market right back in again, by the way. So good thing. This is why we empty out, man, when it's going upside, because things can run, but they don't run forever.
That's still bet it.
Sure.
You can make the market on Kalshi. You can make the market for Marvell on Kalshi right now. It's not even on the board.
There you go.
It's out. What the heck? How do you pronounce I can't pronounce Reddit, Pure Storage. I'm not saying that. SoFi, CoreWeave, Affirm, Strategy, SpaceX. Get out of here. Toast. You can make the market.
Alibaba down there for that reason.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
Marvell. Sorry.
If nobody's betting that, well, I'm not telling anybody what to do. I was surprised because usually by the time you start hearing the rumor, it is absolutely already out there, and the betting markets tend to be out in front of it. Look, the market it's a good bounce back, but what I don't like is first resistance, no breakout. So still at first resistance here on SLV. The trend, I gotta save this so it's always there. Because if we lose this trend line, I'm just getting right out if we lose the trend line, and I'm buying back in front of it and then hold to the HOD. Most of everything bounced very, very nicely in there. So far, like I said, so good. Think we can still crest into that high. Looks like everything's gonna be good to go at this moment. And you look at what's happening in the big cap tech names, like a lot of the mag, Amazon's about to go green. We've already talked about how strong Apple is. Sean's gone Nvidia, so you guys have already been able to see that. You even have, well, our good friend, get there. It'll load eventually. Alphabet almost making a fresh high on the day. Like, that's already top. They were on the top of the Mount Rushmore, in my opinion. Well, near the top of the Mount Rushmore. It was 1A, 1B between Nvidia and Alphabet. We were basically saying it was the AI Mount Rushmore. What was yours? We both agreed on Nvidia and Alphabet, and then we diverged in the afternoon show. Like, I thought you needed to have some power in there, and I was like ho-humming who should put whether I wanted like a CAD. CAD or GV had to be in there, and then TSM. I think you have to have TSM. They're making all the chips.
Yeah, I mean, I think. Because Mount Rushmore is what, 4 or 5?
It's 4. You can only get. It's not a starting lineup.
That's part of the tough. That's part of the tough one. I'll think about. I mean, you guys already nailed most of those there. So good look on the Mount Rushmore there. I would add for AI. I mean, for me, it's got to be one of those names that's not public yet as well, right?
Well, history, because it's history and future. Like Mount Rushmore, like the past counts. It's like you're a GOAT as well. You can be the best right now, but even if you were just carrying the load at the beginning, that matters too.
I mean, I just think Anthropic and OpenAI are going to be
OpenAI
the thing. Like that's what sort of started this whole thing, right? Was OpenAI. So, all right, here we go, man. The futures are finally starting to get back to the upside now, so that's nice. We did have a little bit of a dip down. We tried to buy just a little bit more of the TQs down there, but we did miss that. Oops, that's Intel. Sorry, Intel's back upside. We take a bid there. Nvidia is now $3 in the money. And again, like if you guys are looking for notes, I just took it. Well, actually, Intel was really Intel was the only bad one. We have nothing. We're positive on everything else. It was Intel at 121 that absolutely smacked me in the face right there. But the Nvidia long was a good one of 222. And then the Marvell 165, I mean, that hit in the pre-market. That's now $20 in the money. But again, a pre-market trade is a pre-market trade, and we don't want to judge those anything other than that, right? So we talk about, maybe using less liquidity for yourself, like lower share sizes. Now it's pulling back, but it was 182. There's your 165 right there at 830. So nothing to do that right now. Okay, we do have happening now. It's 10 o'clock. When we get back from Adara, we'll see where these markets are, but let's go find out what's happening in the broader markets with Adara.
PPI was hot today, guys. I'm just going to start with that. It did come in hotter than expected, notably hotter than expected in a lot of cases. Here's the S&P 500 drop on that first 15-minute candle of the day, trying to recover in the second as of right now. Let's see where this direction goes. We've had a lot of action, a lot of excitement. I also am just seeing reports now that Microsoft's LinkedIn is preparing to announce layoffs today. So just be aware here, Microsoft, LinkedIn layoffs. We've had a lot of layoffs as of late. Let's talk about one company that as of now has not announced layoffs, and that's going to be NVDA. Sorry for the rough transition there, guys. But we had President Trump announcing randomly on Truth Social last night that the great Jensen Huang, as he said, that the CEO of Nvidia would be attending China with him. He said the reports are saying he's not there, but he is on Air Force One, and he's not leaving unless I tell him to. So he's going to be coming to China. With that message, Nvidia shot up, I believe, in Blue Ocean, currently trading higher today, and actually became the first company to ever reach a $5.5 trillion market cap. FXI just shooting to the upside. We had Alibaba earnings. The earnings were not great, but the stock itself did quite well after the open. FXI also to the upside. Reuters reporting that President Trump and President Xi here in their meeting are likely going to be considering tariff cuts of up to $30 billion on imports. I mentioned Alibaba earnings. There was another earnings play on watch today, and it was Nebius, NBIS. Beat here in EPS, beat on sales. Generally well-received report here, both fundamentally and technically, as you can see. So make sure to like, make sure to subscribe. We're going to send you back over to Sean and Neil. Back to you.
Okay, thanks,
well,
Adara.
Nebius is potentially, I was about to say, losing the $200 level as we speak, but it just bounced a little bit off of 200. So they've been selling and taking some profit on Nebius. Remember how good the daily chart looks? So on earnings, profit taking has been a theme. You report and you get double digits in this market, and generally speaking, at the open, you've had sellers just about every single time. Finally got those BM&R locates because
Oh, they're not free again?
No, not. Yeah, again, you're paying for them. You're paying nothing, 0.0002, whatever. It doesn't matter. They're basically free. But we had to pay for locates. This is coming into VWAP at the same time on the way upside as the market's bouncing. At the same time, ETH is at the lows, right? So ETH still at the bottoms, like Bitcoin under 80,000, and BM&R is deciding it's going to be a little bit stronger. So if we get into this volume weighted average price. I'll look for that test and then fade on that name. SMCI seems like it's gone. Bias gets the best, was bullish looking, so yeah, no hold there. SLV, still waiting for it to come back in and reload off the trend. It hasn't happened yet, but we're looking for HOD, reload off of the lows. This one's been holding out pretty nicely. Back to Adair.
I do have a couple things to talk about here, guys. A couple different news stories. One of them involves APP Paradigm, calling this one a long idea, saying it's an oversold AI ad tech leader with 13,000% earnings growth. APP, as of right now, has not really reacted to this, but there's one stock, be fair, guys, light volume I want to mention here, but there was a big move in LDOS, so I want to talk about it. Seeing reports that the Pentagon is positioning to potentially procure over 10,000 low-cost containerized missiles over the next 3 years, starting in 2027. Apparently, this being viewed as a good look for LDOS. Again, guys, light volume, under 300,000 shares on the day. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Adara. Yeah, look, going to be an interesting day here as we get so many stories that are going to probably pop through. As remember, we do have President Trump now obviously making that run to China with Jensen, so we'll see. And Elon, we haven't even looked at Tesla yet, by the way. I'm starting to get some more, here, before I look at Tesla, I just hit escape for some reason. What did I just do there? So we did load up. We got more shares down there of the TQs, and we're just getting them out. It doesn't want to break through 75, so we keep on, well, there it is again. We keep on seeing that there is some resistance. So I'm going to get out if this break, it's funny, I was just talking about it. Breaking through 60s, we're out of TQs. So we just got a little bit of a bump higher again. I might take some more out, even though this is like not the greatest trade. Like we can scalp out for a couple handles, fine. But for right now, the market is dipping and diving just a little bit right here. And I don't know if I like that. Intel's been giving me an opportunity to get out as well. So we've made a lot of our money back, but still the market dipping and diving a little bit too much here. So I don't know. Feels like the market wants to go down to me, but I know I'm stuck long and just waiting. We do have our stops. We talked about that. Yeah, there's Tesla today. So, talk about, maybe liking Tesla early would have hurt you, just like with Intel. But now the come up is back, right? I mean, there it is, 430s all the way to the upside there. We just got filled on something which was good there. So nice move higher, right back into the 200 period. It looks like Tesla trying to get this market a little upside there. Oh, it was the futures just went back up there. We got another O's fill there. So you're long silver. I don't know. I haven't been paying attention.
I've only had SMCI short, which I got out of too early because I thought the market was going to bounce. It did not. And then silver is the only long I've had. The one I liked in Nvidia, it got close, but I liked 220 to 222. And it didn't really get into the zone at all, but that's fine. This market is looking like it wants to bounce. And for one thing to watch here, I said the only way I care about USO today is what it does at the edges. We had an entirely inside day yesterday, but that also means if we hit this high and start breaking out, then I gotta at least, yeah, you know what, I already said I would ring the register at 79 if we fail this high. Just it's a reversion trade, take it to the high, get out and reload, Neil. It's gonna listen to my rules. Got to. I said we take it to 79. It got to 78.5 to 79. Gonna go for the pullback into VWAP and look for the next available trade. Like go bounce from one to the next. Yeah, you get a little bit bullish. You see the buyers line up on something and you're really thinking, okay, the market's gonna bounce for me there, and it does not. That was a mistake. BMNR is another place I'm looking short. If the market continues to look weak, this is now at the volume weighted average price. I feel like this is gonna be next for me. There's your VWAP test. Let's see it hold underneath the volume weighted average price. Once it does that, I pay for the locates to be short. It's either crypto or crypto and Rigetti and SMCI were the only places I was looking short. We'll wait for that silver reload. I think we get a chance for that to continue its trend to the upside. Relative strength, at least. Like you've got strength in Meta, you got strength in Google, some places in the market, and the metals have been okay. Today, everything else, and even as I say this, like now you're getting a bounce in BMNR, so I'll get away from that.
We would like a weaker U.S. dollar to get this market going a little bit here today. But yeah, we're not. I was just looking at what was going on with the futures as we just sit here and do nothing really. And now we're starting to fall back in just a bit and just trying to see if anything was going on with the dollar. Looks like we will get stopped out of our TQQ trade pretty soon. And it's kind of a good fit. That's just a quick look at the dollar. We can have another look soon. But we got out of some more NVIDIA. There it is. Something just popped out the Qs. Okay. So we got out of NVIDIA there. That's the Qs right there. We took advantage of that move. I mean, we reloaded it quite nicely there on the Qs. We'll wait to see if there's anything else. We did get stopped out there on a 70 break. We'll see if it wants to get going again. But for me, looks like the market might even want to go downside. So we take advantage of Nvidia. Good climb there. We're still holding on to a very small piece there for Nvidia. And we're also holding on to a small piece with Intel because here comes 117. We did good to make money back on all of these names, but looks like we'll give it up rate again as Nvidia taking down the low of there. It is. Ooh, I thought that just broke there. Just make sure I have my stop. Yes, I do. So 117 break, hands off, right? This is an automatic trade. As soon as it breaks 117, we'll get out. But right now it looks like it's trying to beat it up a bit and hold, but there it goes. See ya. So there it goes. We put a fail on the last little bit there of Intel, but at least we were able to, it was this part that got us in trouble. This part made us money, and we give a little bit back now as the market continues to fall lower. I think it's probably time to start looking short. I remember I was like, hey, I'm starting to feel a little bit of a short bias right here in the market, and that was a couple of ticks ago, so we now have to relook at that. 29, that's why we looked at the US dollar, right? Because this little level here on the futures just looked like it was like doing nothing. Kept on trying to wick higher, not breaking, whoosh to the downside right there. So we'll exit out of a lot of those trades, and now we'll have to get going again. It doesn't, like the US dollar is not having any impact right now on the market, because if you told me it looked like this, I would have thought that the market was probably up today, and it's not. So yeah, that's going on there. I still want to get back into the futures. I still think there is a potential rally coming on headlines, but we don't have those headlines yet, and to predict headlines is a problem. Intel's low yesterday was 115.
We do have
that
this.
160.50. Yeah.
Nicole Vada, NEO and XPeng, is it China EVs? Is it? I haven't looked at them today. I don't know, are they moving? Is there actually something going on? We saw, look, we saw Alibaba and a bunch of Chinese names just going to the upside probably on this trip. So I would suspect that it's more that than anything else. Hey, good look. You know what? NEO's chart's good. Bounce to 200, bounce to 50. It's got momentum. It's been a meme stock before. I don't think it has that in it anymore. We'll probably start seeing them here in Canada because we're welcoming with open arms. That's how we're rolling. Yeah, it's a good-looking name. I just think it's all of China that's going to the upside as we speak. I don't know that it's specific to the EVs realistically, but it's probably has something to do with the meeting. Well, we held under VWAP. This might be my first loser for the day. We looked at VWAP trade on BMNR, and once we're through here, where's my stop? Let me just quickly double-check it. Ooh, that's not where it's supposed to be. It's actually one of my favorite numbers. I just realized I put the... Thank goodness it didn't go another leg up there. I just realized I had it up here and not here. So another couple ticks, and we'll take the first L of the day, which will be on BMNR. But I like the fact that it's to the short and on trend. A day like today, I don't want to be fighting trend. I want to try to catch the dip on a trend line, or if it's like you buy the dip on an uptrend or sell the rip on a downtrend. That's the easy way to put it. But BMNR is threatening to break through. It's probably because ETH finally found a low. Ethereum, ETHA. Yeah, it's holding the bottom at 17 here on ETHA. So if we're not going to, but it's not breaking up. I guess as long as this doesn't break higher, I should be willing to give this a couple of chances because the leading indicator is telling me that it's still weak. So for now, it hasn't stopped out. But those Chinese names, fantastic for them. I'd always be a little bit concerned. As the day gets on, remember, the closer you get and the later it gets, the volume really dries up. And the secondary moves, they're not like US stocks where you get that second leg and parabolic to the upside. They pretty much never do that because they fall asleep in the second half of the day. So a lot of times you want to take your profit early on the Chinese stocks.
Yeah, I agree with that one. We see them go to sleep in the afternoon there. So, well, with EV, I mean, today it might not because of, we do have all that talk today. So we'll see what's going on. I did try again on a 25-period break there of the Qs. It did rip up when we got it. We didn't take anything out. Should have done that because it goes up to 75 again. So we're going to put an offer there now this time, 74. Let's go 74.95. We'll get out of a quarter of it and then see if we can hold the rest. Just trying to get a feel for this market right now. Flat. We did talk about the potential for this to run right back up to the upside. So we're going to continue to look over there. SMR as well. That was what I was talking about. There was that new, you said fusion energy name or something today?
It is.
So we'll have to wait to see. We saw
geothermal. It begins with an. It's Fervo energy.
Okay, on that note, we can see if there's anything on the...
It's a small buy right now.
Balance. Yeah, just sort of by time will give us a better idea right there. Yeah, FRVO. Right there. So on the NASDAQ, going to be coming out today. That's just another IPO. So we'll get ready for that. Big one's coming tomorrow. And then we do have, the look for SpaceX and, of course, Anthropic and OpenAI and the rest of them coming out as well. So we'll see that one right now. All right, yeah, still waiting, man. We got to be a little bit more patient. We did write down that Nvidia, which was an absolute monster, man. I mean, that 222, this was written down on our list. We nailed it, but we never nail it hard enough because we were long everything else when this was happening. Made a lot on this move back up. So right now, $2 in the money on the sticky note, but the sticky note failed me with Intel, so that's okay. But okay, there it is. Nice move back right now for the futures, man. We talked about buying that. It does go right through 75 again. So we go back to the futures with my favorite animation, and we'll see if that wants to continue higher. Now let's get, I'm having an offer here at 04. Hopefully we get that. We'll get out a little bit there, and then we can let it climb. I mean, hopefully into VWAP. We only got 1 or 2 VWAP fills right there at 75.30, so let's do that right now. 75.25. We'll see if we can get away with another offer there. Offering 4s, we just get it right there. Now we wait to see if we get a high side climb now. It's too bad because Intel, we did drop it at 117. It's right back to 118 right now. Intel is just a wild, wild man right now. We'll have to watch out for that one. So yeah, in the futures now, and hearing stuff about Chinese stocks, right? I mean, Alibaba was trading a little bit higher off some of that news. And shout out to Ozan there in the chat. He was saying that he does not need to be adopted anymore. He's made enough money on Alibaba. Wow, that's a monster move there for Alibaba, man.
That's
131 to 144. Huge move there. Probably getting some similar love in these other Chinese names. And again, sometimes you just have to think about it like we have that meeting in China. Like, so Chinese names going to go back up to the upside, right? They lay dormant there until there's news, and then it's boom, upside. But Baidu has been doing quite well for a while. There's also Pinduoduo. We got I haven't looked at a lot of these in a while, so you guys super chatted XPeng if you're talking about EVs, and you also super chatted about NIO, but it's PDD that's been doing absolutely nothing, that now is starting to maybe get back up. There's a lot,
as well.
Yeah, JD, there's a lot of get up here with PDD, right? They can get back there
I think
to 114.
JD actually looks like the longest, like this one has been doing absolutely nothing, and look at the bottom that this stock made. Maybe that could be definitely one of them. Alibaba is very enticing. I'm not gonna lie. Like, look at the topping tail in this. You know what? That's the problem is you've already missed the entry off here. I'm just thinking about the reversion on it. Maybe an NIO here as well. Like, as the U.S. market picks back up, I don't wonder if there would be a nice little shift. Like, the bounces are actually starting to come in, and I think there's a chance to revert the other way on some of these. NIO doesn't look all that good. Baba, I think, has already happened. XPeng, I'm going right down the line. XPeng, that gives you something. This one could be interesting. All right, XPeng. XPeng is probably set up, at least for me, the best for a possible reversion trade. I think if the U.S. market comes back, then you get a pullback in these Chinese parabolic names. We've already been going in the other direction. The only thing I'm still in, because I don't like the short right now in SMCI because of what we're doing, but we're so close on BMNR. Like, that could easily come out. And silver hasn't pulled back to get me a re-entry. So I'll wait patiently for this one to play a reversion on XPeng, because I think Baba might have come and gone.
Bro, look at Google, bro. All the way to $394. $10 straight fire.
What a beast.
On Google right now. An absolute monster, man. We love some Google there. Let me see what ARM's doing. This is my thing I just bought yesterday, so I'll be obsessed with it for a minute. Okay, ARM's still 212. That's okay, man. We're $11 in the money. We're not selling any of it, of course. AMNZ, no, AMZN would be the call for Amazon. It's 1020 right now. We can see what's going on a little bit with Amazon. Another name that I think goes right back up to all-time highs very, very shortly. That's 280 right there. Dip down into 265. Not enough to get me long. I have to go find out. I think on my bid's at 250. We talked about, we put a bid at ARM at 200. We put a bid on Amazon at 250. Google, I'm not sure where that bid is. I'm already quite long on Google, as we talked about, like rebalancing some of the portfolios sometimes. But this is the banger here today. It's Nvidia. It's the #1 talk here on the sticky note there. 222 long. Man, traveling to China, a good sign here. Opening at all-time highs, which we did. We fell back on the PPI, but when I wrote that, should wait to see if there's any dips. Well, that's exactly what we get. Upgrade of B of A as well. So we sort of labeled it out there as a trade that we were definitely positive on. And then, oh yeah, we can't, 121 long on Intel was not right, man. Intel's at 117 right now. I'm going to try to get a little longer at 117 because we can use that 116 sort of as a bid. So we'll have to wait to see what's winding up there. 117, we do take that. We do understand that there is some upside pressure always. Downside pressure these days on Intel. I mean, it had a nice move lower yesterday. And right there, man, we'll just take 20 cents early on a little bit, and we'll see if it wants to sort of mature back upside on this play for Intel. So take a little out. We'll get ready to go. 117.15, 117.16. We'll see if it wants to go. We just got some more out of Nvidia and move back in the TQs as well. Like, what sort of small cap names do you guys want us to cover? Put it in the chat. We'll be able to have that as well. But right now, 74.80. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Right on.
I was about to say.
Yeah, right on cue there. Small cap recap with Adara over at the desk. Let's go get some of those names right now.
Yeah, technically a couple of minutes early, Sean, but I heard you say small cap, and I was like, why not? They're already ready. So let's start here with Quantum Cyber. What a name in terms of trying to get people excited about certain sectors here. QUCY announcing that they've secured an exclusive autonomous drone platform at the same time as the Trump administration seeks $55 billion for drone warfare. So it seems like they're really trying to get the administration's attention here, or at least imply that they have it with this headline. QUCY on watch. At WGRX, a name that I know for sure has been mentioned before in the show. It's definitely rallied in the past as well, so it's a repeat offender. I believe Sharif might have traded this one at one point or another. Wellgistics announcing a pilot MSO collaboration with a company called Care Farm Tech. They're targeting $14 billion in U.S. market and CCM services. And last but not least, AEHL. This is not a day one or a day two or even a day three catalyst. This is from Friday, but they announced that they have $190,000 in realized gains from their Genius plan. That is their name for their crypto treasury strategy. This is a treasury strategy play. They also announced at that time, which again was on Friday, a $95,000 share repurchase plan. AEHL somehow at intraday highs, despite again this story being a couple days old now. Back to you. Make sure to like and subscribe.
Okay, so we got into that XPeng, all those Chinese names that went absolutely ham as the market caught a bid, starting to crest out a little bit, volume dropping down a little bit as well, just kind of like the XPeng more than others. Yeah, the FXI, they're just saying FXI.
Yeah, I mean,
making fresh highs. It's led by Alibaba on their earnings. You can say earnings miss because they did, back up to the 145 zone. So just to quickly in on the trend break, give it to the prior high. That's the name of the game. We're going to go over to Sean as finally we're getting a dip in SLV. This is my chance to get back in, as that's been bullish all day, all day.
We did buy some more Intel there, but we have Trade the Pool right here. What would your trading look like if capital wasn't the constraint? I feel like it's almost the opposite for me. That's the reality for most traders. It's not skill holding them back. Well, for me, it's size. Trade the Pool changes that. Got to get that skill. Step into the U.S. equity markets with up to $200,000 in buying power without committing your own capital. Full access to stocks and ETFs, both long and short executions, with the precision and freedom serious traders like you expect. Your performance is measured by one standard. Let's go, Intel. Your performance is measured by one standard: discipline, risk management, and consistent execution. Meet that standard and you will operate at scale. No subscriptions, no ongoing obligations, just a clear path forward. For those ready to trade beyond limitations, this is the next level. Visit tradethepool1word.com and use Trader TV to grab your percentage points off right there. And I couldn't get through that fast enough because there it goes, man. It's the TQs ripping to the high side. It's Intel. We're back into that one. As we just said, we're going to try it out there. So we got reloaded, I guess, there on Intel. And there it goes. Huge move back there to the upside. We're long at 1.7. We just bought it 5 minutes ago, 117. There's 118.20, and there she goes Intel. And here we go again with the futures, man. We're really happy with this play. Let's see how much upside we can get with this as well. We'll offer a little bit more right here in the 20s and take advantage of that because that VWAP is at 40, and now we'll wait to see if we can climb through VWAP. Let's put an offer around this 60 marker now. Hopefully we're able to get that, and we'll work off of it. So yeah, that's what we're doing over here right now. Good little, wow, really good battle back, man. The trade of the day for me is going to be Nvidia. Why? Because it was written down. So shout out to Nas, of course. But as it was written, we had Nvidia long there at 222. Really the only name that stopped on a dime at our spot and then went. We did have Marvell. We only have 4 names right now on here. Nvidia, the Qs, we're up on the Qs. What's up, Sector Watch? Intel, Marvell, and the Qs. So they're all right there right now. Bye-bye, Nvidia. That is your $3 winner. We have 250 or so, 150, sorry, on Intel, and we'll wait for the Qs to continue to climb higher. Oh boy, man. Oh, we lost a month, made back a month, and now we're flat. So, yeah, exciting day, needless to say, here today in these markets. But let's keep going, see if we can get back to Greensville and where we need to be. But, wow, that was very interesting morning, man. Too much risk on. But when you believe in it, you believe in it. And today just fell through a little bit there early. But all good, man. We've got the Qs. It was really, we're only going to be red on one name, and it's Intel. So hopefully that can battle back. We just bounced off of 118.65s. Good little level right there.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, this market is battling back. And so the first time today, I'll actually have a stop out. Actually, it's a penny early because we didn't break the high, but there must have been a dark pool wick above this wick. But it doesn't matter because it would have printed me here anyways. Still waiting for XPeng. Again, you just got to wait for something to set up. And when it does, then just try to jump in. One in, going to get out into that volume weighted average price. SLV was dipping. This was the long that actually came in for me. Again, it was just strong. Buying the dip on strength instead of weakness ended up working out today, but I'm sitting right here looking for that VWAP. We're just headed right back into the highs. I still think this chart looks bullish. I know we had some talk. Somebody said this looked bearish on the daily, or I don't remember what it was. It was something about the lower highs. Either way, I see this as an uptrend in SLV, and until proven otherwise, like, give me that. There's your wipeout bottom. There's your channel up. I think it's a bit station to station until it makes a big parabolic move through that channel. So long until it ain't, maybe, is the way to go. So far, so good. I'm not going to have any complaints about this morning, with the only exception being getting out of SMCI too early. And then it's just not a reload. Like, I'm not going to fight this at VWAP when the market's looking too strong. I can wait for it to get back into some of those highs if I even still like that long trade. Or short trade, I should say. I'm not even sure I will like that short trade. I like this. I like the Chinese, looking for a Chinese stock to be short, because if they were going oppo to the market on the way up, on the way down for the market, they were on the way up, then I like these to come back in. You get lunchtime, you get volume start to come out of them. XPeng just looked a little bit better in terms of weakness. The chart's a little bit more crap compared to the chart's a little bit weaker compared to something like an NIO. Like, one looks bullish, the other looks bearish. Part of the reason why I favor that side of it. You'll be happy to see ARM is breaking out.
Oh, good.
I had to move my ARM bid yesterday because I didn't get filled. But ARM is now at $218.
Yes, ARM.
Undefeated.
Undefeated.
Here's the thing.
We love that one.
If you don't, like, you can sell. I sold 10% of ARM up at like 230, somewhere in the mid 230s. I'd have to double check. But if you don't get that back in to get a full position, it goes back to the highs. You didn't really accomplish much of anything. So it's always about buying the dip after you trim in the long term. Otherwise, you should just be holding.
Guys, we get, good call on that one. Yeah, really great news, man. We got Marvell. We are just absolutely on fire right now with these longs. I mean, I hope they can hold right back to VWAP. We talked about that with the TQs, man. And again, like, we're not going to tweet things out and just tweet out our winners, right? I mean, we talk about everything happening right here. Actually, I did not put the Nvidia thing on here, but there it is, man. Nvidia with the 222 long. Intel fails right there, but good late. And the TQs right now. And the reason why we write this all down is because on the note, these are the levels that we had, man. 75 long on the TQQs, so you can see where that name is right now. That's at 50 cents there in the money. The Nvidia long is 222. That's been pretty cash as well. As now Nvidia is now $3 up, and then Intel's starting to go. So we're sitting at about $5 right now, which has really made our day all of a sudden. So that was a good one, man. Way too many shares early on Intel. Keeps us red on that name despite having a huge move back. Disney's been, okay, go. Holy man, wow, Neil, this has been a quite the trading morning, as we've said. All right, Disney right there, 104, 105, just seeing this name. Okay, that's why. Just broke through VWAP right now to the downside, so wanted to see Wagwan with that. I mean, I don't know, man. The net is really moving around here quite violently, so that's all good, man. But yeah, nice move back on most of these names. Some small cap recaps. Hope you guys got some of those names back in your blotter. Like, I only really scan for major names, right? I mean, that's where the bread is buttered around here. For me, SMCI, Amazon, Disney, PayPal, SMCI, SMR, Occidental, BMNR. There's the TQs down there, JP Morgan as well. We have crude inventories today at 10:30. So, but anyways.
Much now.
In 2 minutes. We've got that going as well, so that should be fun. We'll see what winds up happening there. Just some more outs here, man. The net is just too much fluctuation right here. So we're going to get some more outs. Good move higher in the futures, good move higher everywhere, but let's start to trim a little bit as we only have a half hour left on our show. But the market's going to be here for a minute. Right, we'll wait for that IPO to hit as well. But yeah, what a day there, Salvador. You and I both, man. What a roller coaster ride there. So there it is. Let's send this through. And congratulations. It looks like you might be back up. I don't know. What a day. It was down 450.
Kept doubling down?
Yeah, that's risky. That's kind of like what I did too, but very risky. Now up 250. There he goes, man. That is props up to you right there. And as Joe messages me all the time, shooters got to shoot, right? So that's what it is. It's like, what is it, like Michael Jordan also missed the most baskets out of anybody out there. So you got to take those shots. But there it is, man. TQs. Congratulations, Salvador, and everybody else out there right now. As we wait for that next opportunity, I'm just going to sit around and see what winds up happening now, as a lot of this has really got going here late. We'll see if there's continuation.
Yeah, that's for sure. Like we're getting, the ES is looking better than the NASDAQ right now. So you want to double check as to why. What's leading the way here? Like maybe it's the banks, probably some energy. Yeah, USO's breaking the highs, so energy is probably going to be leading the way. We had healthcare in play, but it's not the NASDAQ leading. I like the days better when the NASDAQ leads the way. I feel like you get a little bit more continuation. Could be able, like the Mag 7's all, like they're all like tech names. What's going on with the position board at the bottom there? That's a little bit funky. You want to see, that leadership, I think, elsewhere. All I will say, like there's a term that's used around, well, at least on the trading floor back in the day, that was like gain from the bottom was one of the most satisfying things. I would be careful about doubling down as a trading strategy. I'll just leave it at that. That's a very dangerous way to trade, where it's just like, okay, well, just buy. If you buy twice as much the next level down, any bounce you get, and mathematically it doesn't have to bounce as far. It's a really dangerous way to trade. And a lot of times what'll happen is if you don't have the right account size or big enough account size and risk, you can find yourself getting blown out early. It works well for traders with large risk, but that's a very dangerous way to trade. Just be careful with that. But I'm glad to see you get back green.
I mean, and that's exactly what we're talking about here, right? And that's why we talk about trading. The advantage of trading at a prop floor, right, is exactly that, right? You got to have a lot of risk to do something like that. But
in a retail account, that's a really difficult thing.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's what I was saying. Like, make sure you have your stops, man. You don't want to get it right there. And that's right, Ozan, right there. 2 times your daily goal is met right there. So congratulations. I'm glad we introduced some of that to all of you guys. It's good to like sort of measure yourself. And if I can find that, I'll put it up there, Ozan. But I think your message has gone a little bit too far right now than ours. Oh, there it is, Ozan. He just says, boom, here you go, Ozan. You got your name mentioned, so we'll put it out there. Oh, no, we're having issues. That's right.
Yeah,
so we have issues with the graphics right now. That's not going to work. Okay, just a couple more outs. Like we said, Tesla just doing Tesla things today, of course. Oh, man, Tesla and Google, Elon right now, yeah, nice move higher there for Tesla as it continues to go northbound right now. So that's going to be obviously a good story for those of you that have bought some recent shares in TSLA. I'm very long that name, ARKQ. This is a big holding for ARKQ. This is the autonomous and robotic ETF for ARK. So we already talked about this one breaking through some of those levels again over the last little while. Katos, there's a couple different names in this, Teradyne, and so on and so forth. But yeah, that's a good one. That's part of the robotics plays that I do have going on right there. Checking out on oil, we did have that inventory release. I'm not even sure. There was 0.19 million barrel build versus a 3 million barrel draw right there. So not a great one. I actually don't have it. This is kind of an interesting story here. Oh, that's right, we can't send anything, my bad. I was gonna say Anthropic warns that there's some unapproved sales of its shares out there. So I don't know if some people, go ahead, Darren.
So if you look at the wording of it, like further, because I saw this earlier and I didn't mention it because like the likes of Robinhood and DXYZ weren't really moving, but they basically said any kind of special purpose vehicles, any other way of trading this, anyone that's telling you you're trading a version of Anthropic, you're not, basically, is what that meant. They worded it kind of weird, but that was what they were trying to say with it.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, Anthropic not a public company yet, but obviously if you have some shares that you thought were getting on the DXYZ or some private market dealings there. Anthropic is on another round today, man. They're going to be valued at over $900 billion. So they're coming to, I know Sharif had said that he didn't think they're going to come at $1 trillion. They're going to come at like $1.5 trillion, Anthropic, when it's ready to go as well. But yeah, man, Intel 250, Nvidia $1.70. We actually emptied out on Nvidia. So that's why my net's not really cracking around too much. It's really just the Intel story for me right now and the futures. So as we continue to battle with both of these, that's what's sort of leading the net driver right now for me, because we're almost out of everything else. Let's go Intel, man. Intel's really starting to go now. Now we're 250 in the money on this one. We'll see if it can hit to 120 again now for INTC. Always wish we had more, but we did good getting back into this name, that is for sure. So yeah, so far so good there. Yeah, you got to become a channel member. You got to become everything right now. Make sure you do join us every single day. Joe will be in this seat for the next 3 days, so it's going to be a great opportunity for all of you to enjoy Joe all day on this program. This man, hardest working. We have the hardest working man back there and the hardest working woman right behind us with a dare. We got to throw to her and see what she's up to.
What I am up to here is telling you guys about UNH and some of these other insurance plays. Another one that was mentioned here was BTSG. Dr. Oz, on his official CMS account here, because he is, again, in charge of Center for Medicaid and Medicare Services, he just posted a Reuters article reporting that the U.S. is halting Medicare enrollments for new home health care and hospice providers. And he said, much more to come, stay tuned. So indicating there could be more Medicare halts. Not a good look in theory here for the likes of UNH, but UNH is at intraday highs and does not care about the story at all. Either way, though, I wanted to let you guys know. Back to you.
Thank you, Dara. We will address Palantir. There's no story. I turned around and asked Dara, is there anything specifically going on with Palantir? There's no news story. It's just down 5% on its own volition. It seems sometimes the story has actually just been relative weakness in some of the software names like the IGV. And I would agree, yes, some weakness, but that doesn't look terribly different from like the NASDAQ, bouncing just above VWAP. That looks exactly like the NASDAQ chart to me. So this is a Palantir thing currently. So I have no idea why it's down. That said, if it loses 130, which it just did, you've got a lot of support at 127 bucks. That feels like if the market's going all the way V-shape, Palantir is one of the better mean reverters if you're patient enough with it. So another couple dollars and you're going to get to a support level here on Palantir, down 5 points into what looks like another market recovery. You do have USO curling, which is a good sign off of some of these highs. So this can get back. I think we can get a bit of a look there. Computer team, that's why we just went over it. It's dropping like crazy. And I like reversion trades. So this is one that it's still a couple of bucks away from a good support level. So if it's not going to break the trend altogether, which it hasn't done yet, then I got to see it get down to 127 to give it some kind of a look. Like it would really have to jump to break the all-day trend. It still has like at least $1 to go. Ugly. But I mean, Palantir hasn't really been that strong recently. So I guess it's not that uncharacteristic. Palantir hasn't been strong.
Oh, man.
Like, look at the downtrend. When it breaks this downtrend, great. I think that's a good swing opportunity. But it's nowhere close to doing that just yet as the market. Usual, the dip buyers come in.
Yeah, as usual.
It's not there.
That is right. Yeah, no. Oh, look, man, we downgraded Palantir a long time ago in our accounts. We talked about that at that 140 level, so on and so forth. So yeah, definitely no surprise, and no, it doesn't need any news. We know what the story is with Palantir. It's a software name, and they're not loved right now. And I mean, it's the same thing. It's not like Microsoft's not going to be down 5% either today, but Microsoft's still down 1%. The Nasdaq's up. So this is a big, huge name, and names like Salesforce, Shopify, all these names continue to get beat up. Why? Because they're not in the right space. You got to be in the data centers right now. Palantir just providing the software for that. Look at the TQs, man. I mean, honestly, what a ride. If you're not having fun yet, like you got to be sitting here and this is why we do this, right? Have a good time, trade, try to be a little stress-free, although it was pretty stressful early there. But that is the sort of what life is all about, is trying to take a little bit of adventure and risk, right? You wouldn't be a day trader if you didn't want to take risk. I mean, that is for sure. We talk about it all the time. Not the greatest to try to make this a full-time paying job, but if you're here to have some fun, put a little side hustle into your game, man, that's exactly the whole point of what we're doing here, trying to show you different opportunities, get you guys into this game and teach you about risk management and some of the pillars and whatnot that have worked for us here. So hopefully it's working for you guys. And no matter what style of trading you're doing, just have a look and make sure that what we're talking about makes sense for you. And if not, that's fine. Like, alter your plan accordingly. I'm getting some more out of Intel. Intel just broke through. I mean, unbelievable. We're long at 117. That was $3 there at 120. So like we took that, man, and that was just like I look back and sometimes it's like, oh well, it's lucky that held. It's not lucky. This is like, what is it that unlucky that it didn't hold here, unlucky there? It's like you put in the trades and they either work or they don't. And we've been in this game long enough to know that, sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't. You just got to make sure that you have, the right amount of risk according to your portfolio and according to your blood pressure. And as long as that's fine, then you should be okay and live to trade, obviously, numerous other days. And that's where prop trading really comes into it. I could lose $5,000 today and sleep. That makes absolutely no difference to me because I'm coming back tomorrow with the same ideas and risking the same stuff. So, that's the whole point. Just want to make sure you don't run into too many red days in a row, because $5,000 times 5 is all of a sudden $25,000, and then you're like, oh God, what have I done, right? But maybe you'll lose your account on that prop floor. But nothing to worry about on this side for that. The banks have been moving back a little bit. We always look at all the tech names. I mean, I think besides silver today, obviously you're into XPeng right now. But what you want to do is look elsewhere. And today, not the right look for JPM. You might want Robinhood on the downside maybe today because of Bitcoin. So I could see that have been a play maybe early when Bitcoin broke through 80,000, but a nice battle back there for Robinhood as we continue to go higher. And Robinhood always leads me to SoFi, which SoFi is a name that I'm invested in underwater now on this name. Maybe I might not be underwater in total, but definitely of our most recent buys. We bought some at 22, we bought some at 18 it was, and now breaking back down through 15 would be bad, but we'll wait to see if that winds up happening, because that is your low right here of the last couple months.
Rates aren't helping that much.
$15. Yeah, no, and rates, with their big loan business and their big loan book there, SoFi has a little bit of a problem, I think, brewing.
Yeah, give me Hood. Right now, Hood doesn't look that much better either, but I'm still liking it a little bit better for Robinhood. Not much, but like a little bit better. Just a teensy-weensy bit better. Like, you're holding the low so incredibly well here, I think, on Robinhood. But that's about all you're doing. You got to do more than hold lows. At some point, you got to go for sure. Is that just my screen? Okay. I don't know if that was... Okay.
They're
just bear with us. We're working on some stuff. I thought that was just our program monitor. We're going to go up to Adara, come right back. It's already 10:40. I think we got Sector Watch, everybody.
Sector Watch.
We do have Sector Watch, guys, and we're going to start with a certain sector that we don't usually start with. It's consumer non-durables. Why? Because I have to talk about these tobacco names, MO and PM, both of these at or near intraday highs. New York Times just reporting, quote, with a friend in Trump, the tobacco industry secures a lucrative win. Now, we know these names have been on watch lately with certain catalysts related to the tobacco space. We also know yesterday we had the resignation of Marty Makary as the lead of the FDA, and reportedly this had to do with the fact that Marty Makary was not interested in approving flavored vapes, which the Trump administration wanted him to do. So the idea that he's now out could maybe clear the way for flavored vape approval. Either way here, good look for these tobacco names, not a great look for the rest of the consumer non-durable sector. Producer manufacturing red, utilities really red here. We talked about CEG yesterday for that Mount Rushmore. It's down 7% on earnings day 3. Commercial services down, already mentioned utilities. Health tech mostly down here, though Eli Lilly with some positive data for their weight loss drugs to the upside. J&J also up about 1%. Finance red, a lot of these CEOs are actually going with President Trump to China. I'll have more on that for you in a minute. Tech services really weak here. It's the SaaS sell-off once again, though Oracle actually saved from that today. And electronic tech, you've got Broadcom, AMD, GE, Amphenol to the downside. Nvidia to the upside, and again, briefly hitting that $5.5 trillion market cap, making it the first ever company to do so. Micron still up 5%. TXN also up about 4%. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Adara, there for sure. As the market continues to climb, again, I've only been in 4 names, but usually I will have been in, I'd have another reversion that I'm looking at that's not just Palantir, but prior high, it's always the same for me. break the trend line, enter, prior high stop, don't move the stop. I don't move stops up, I'll move it down if it starts working, but now we're headed right into that top. I'll probably, if it breaks out, we'll end up 2 for 4, but up, which is fine. It's Palantir that looks like it's the most intriguing thing for me. $3, $2.50, $3 away from support. Heavy trend, certainly has the potential to reverse. We've seen the stock do it before with the market looking pretty strong. I wouldn't love it if the market looks too weak, but I want the market to hold. But again, not really moving the stops. Sometimes I could make an argument that I can get out of this like in here when it's not going right away. But if you were watching yesterday, one of the things that I was saying, and we were talking about this with Joe as well, if there's a particular setup that's been working the best for you, then that's the one that you should be giving.
That's it.
Give it the most room. And at this time of day, it has been the mean reversion, without question. Like once you get past 1030, then almost every time it's like, oh, that works. It's because it's a VWAP hold trade, like a dip into VWAP, hold on a long, so a long trend where you dip into VWAP, which I want in silver, or it's been a trend break. So just work with those. And I think we can get a trend break on Palantir. The market keeps going up. I'm pretty sure it's going to. SLV, that's where I'm looking for that VWAP dip trade. It happens to be VWAP, but that's more a hold the trend line, play to the high. Like bounce off the trend, play to the high, play the dip into the volume weighted average price, and then rinse and repeat. We're not at 80,000 yet in Bitcoin. That could be a bit of a problem. Like this is still bearish. Like it came in bearish on SMCI and crypto, and this is still pretty weak. You're under, like you said, underneath 80,000, underneath VWAP. You haven't really caught too much of a bid. I'd want the market to turn though. If I don't see the Qs turning, like just show me some kind of a turnaround and lower high, or even just a double top on the Qs, and I think you got an easier one being short over there in crypto land. So just looking for those like one-time entries for myself. That's the way I like to go. And to the other side of the aisle, Tesla's a complete opposite of Palantir right now. If Palantir is only going one way in a very linear straight line, then Tesla's going only one way in a very linear straight line. At some point, the idea is the behavior just looks different on the chart. When it changes the behavior, then you look for a revert. I don't know if that's 450. I love the stock. I think it's great. I think it's going to the all-time high. I think we said it was the next Mag 7 to get there. That makes sense to me. It was them, Microsoft, and Meta. Easy call to make it Tesla, but you got a triple top at 450. That does also lend itself to a bit of a reversion play as well here. So yeah, that's going to stand out. Tesla in the other direction.
Yeah, you can see those trades that I got on there are moving right now. Intel, we have about $6 and change now in the money, and we talked about reversion. There it is, 10 o'clock. There goes Intel, man, 350 now. Upside, that's too bad that happened early on Intel, but otherwise the kind of day this would be. Like we said, forget about luck, but there goes Intel. I'm glad that Adair brought up J&J. I like J&J. I think this is a way to get a little bit more diversified. We've been buying some J&J, not recently. This is pretty much where we should be buying it. We said that we were waiting for something to come into, like if I nibbled on ARM yesterday, not on an ARM, that wouldn't be that great. Although the jerk chicken was really good yesterday, so that was nice, man. 220 came in on J&J, so that was a real nice level right there to get a little more diverse into your portfolios. LLY, yes.
Money.
Oh boy. Right out. It's at $1,002, says Dara. Dara asks about that one. What a better time right now to check out. I've been checking this out, whether or not I've been in last, which I've been, or what's going on right now. Here's a tracker of what we're all doing right now. Oh boy, there it is. Obi, I guess Circle or something must have printed out for him right there, because there it is, man. Oh boy, Obi retakes the lead right now. I'm up 25% so far. These picks we made on January the 12th right there. Obi, Sean, Randy, there's a Dara up 8%. Joe will be happy. He's up 7 points right now. Ramin up 4. Neil, Mateo, Sharif, the chat because of BBAI, and Brendan right there all around that zero marker. So we'll have a quick little look at this later on, but mine is Marvell, Eli Lilly, AI. We'll wait to see what winds up happening with Big Bear AI in at that 420 level right now. And I know there's a lot of talk. Oh, okay, well, there it is. This is, you know, even when we made the pick back in January, we made picks that we thought, you know, were going to be good all year. And unfortunately, right here, this name was at $6 when I had to make the pick. We're still long at $4. And you know what? $3.50. This has been a good hold down there for Big Bear AI, but honestly, man, they're the same kind of thing as Palantir. They got that software. They got some hardware as well. It's just, you know, they're not being talked about enough, and they did not turn that profit. Wow, right there. Now we are now $4, Big Joe, as he sits back down right now. So JS Capital is printing right now as there it goes. Intel, $4 in the money as we make it back, baby, on that name right now for Intel. We never make everything back, of course, but we're going to, like we said, there was a rough morning. Very, very great into the close. Look, $4 there, $3 on Nvidia, and $1 on the Qs. $4, $3, $7, $8 right now in total. And it's just about believing in the market, right? I mean, yesterday we saw it's patterns. You know, we saw this move hit down yesterday. We thought Intel wasn't going to make that dramatic of a move. It did. It bounced back. Futures gave us the golden trade as well down to the downside. And it's always nice when you're number one. And Neil talked about this, right? You just take the A setups the hardest, right? And Nvidia came down into 222 as we posted, and now that's $3 and trying to go higher as well. So, yeah, you know what? BBAI may get out of that one and wait until it breaks through $5 to get some more of Big Bear AI. We've already done well on that stock and don't need it to continue to fall down. So some of you that are maybe thinking about getting out, not horrible idea there. But yeah, here we go, man. It's 10:50. It's Money Talks. We'll come back. We'll figure out what's for lunch. Let's go see what Adair is up to now with Money Talks and see that DXY.
I'll mention a headline for you all as well involving Meta. Meta reportedly launching incognito chat. This could be for private conversations and the messages automatically disappear. So make of that what you will. META on watch with that announcement. Let's talk here about the US dollar, which is, I mean, I mentioned here a while ago that 97.6 level of support on the dollar. We touch it twice, concretely, we almost touch it a third time. Either way here, we're bouncing off that level. Second strong session in a row for the DXY, and we're near that high from last Tuesday of 98.57, currently 98.54. Let's see if we can stay above that level and then continue to push to the high side. We did have PPI data this morning, and it was much harder than expected. PPI year over year, 6% versus 4.8% expected. PPI month over month, 1.4% versus 0.5% expected. Core PPI year over year coming in at 5.2% versus 4.3% expected. And core PPI month over month, 1% versus 0.3% expected. Here's the CME Fed Watch tool. We now are at 98.5% chance that we're not getting any kind of rate move in June. Now, we're actually seeing at this point, this is the first time I've seen this, as of December of 2027, I've been saying for a while here, December 27, we maybe could get a cut, then that started changing. Now, guys, in December 27, we're potentially getting a hike. So this is a significant change. Stay posted on this, but this is pretty interesting here. The probabilities tab here on CME Fed Watch tool. I do have to shout out an individual by the name of Frank in the chat for making me aware of this. Before we send you back to the guys, here's the official final list of the many CEOs that are in China with President Trump. Now, what's interesting is the White House's official announcement included 16 CEOs. It notably did not include Jensen Huang of Nvidia. Or sorry, 16 executives, because one's not a CEO. But either way here, guys, this is the full list. Like I mentioned earlier, it's a lot of people who work in the banking sector and the credit card space. You've got Visa, MasterCard, BlackRock, Blackstone, Citigroup with Jane Fraser, and even David Solomon, who President Trump famously said he could go back to DJing. He's also on this list, guys. Back to you.
Nothing wrong with DJing. Nothing wrong with DJing. 75-20.
In the house. Palantir's trying.
Good.
But this is not. It's not. It didn't get to 27. It's putting in a higher low. I guess you can make the. I can squint hard enough to see that it's broken the trend line here. That's a really tight, by rule, a really tight stop on the trend line. But you know what? That's 130, and you're really giving it to quarters. So that is what it is. Like, it's not bad. But like the prior bar is sitting here, like the 3/4 mark on Palantir. So I'm going to try and buy the 30s and give it to there. There's a lot of, the risk to reward is insanity because really, like the lower bar is 50 pennies from here, and VWAP is $2.50. So you can get like any push, and that's going to work well. The other thing boding really well for this comeback is USO has absolutely dripped into VWAP. Why, Commodity King, we talking about MP Materials? Oh, it's coming back. Nice. Yeah, they were a dog this morning. Nice little, everything's V-shaped recovery, but MP's been dog for the last week or so, off of a local high. It's good. It's just this stock, it's been a very long consolidation for this stock. Like, it's been a good buy at 50, it's been a good buy nowhere else for MP. No real big time breakouts, which is okay. There's nothing wrong with something that's just slightly up for you in the portfolio. Not everything is going to be parabolic. I still like them, I still have them, but they're doing nothing with this bounce off to 50 constantly. So that's really my chagrin anyways on MP. Full disclosure, I own MP shares as obviously I think would be implied there.
We're happy. Yeah, I mean, what a run right now. What a huge move. Funny you guys say this right here. Sean dressed like an MC today. Run INTC. Yes, you are 100% on it. Not run DMC, run INTC. You win on that one, Mr. Leahy. That was a real funny one there. I think that was great. So thank you for that kind of comment there. And what's up to Pops Mafia on this play as well, man. We are now, what a day. We are now just watching these names continue to climb. Sharif, man, it's $4.20 now on Intel. It's $3.70 on Nvidia, and it's $1.15 right now on the NASDAQ. So there goes the TQs, and of course, triple levered NASDAQ up. Wow. All right, Pops Mafia, man, my hat's off to you for following and taking this trade. And just, hey, man, I mean, just glad that some of you are taking some of the ideas that we're throwing down here, man. We really appreciate that. We've had some good trades today. And yeah, we'll end the day on a good note. As long as well, you know what, today, based on the way today is going, it don't even matter what's for lunch, but we're going to have a quick little look right now anyways, because it's a segment that we like, and obviously will be continued to the day that I'm not even here anymore, and maybe we retire a little later than expected on that kind of a move there with Intel. Damn you, Intel. Okay, we had U.S. flag, we had Jamaican flag. Today, I possibly have the best cuisine in the world. It is the Italian flag. Hey, man,
They always give us the same thing, though. No lasagna today.
Yeah, no lasagna today. Last time, remember, we were off the cheese. We didn't get the lasagna. I didn't even try lasagna. Wow. Okay, we are really extending out here. I don't even know if we should do this segment anymore. Now Intel's 444. What? Mona's. Oh, we got a name on this now. Mona's beef bolognese.
It was Nona's the last time.
It should be Nona's.
I think that's
they put an M there. I was like, maybe Mona made this, but no. Mona's beef bolognese there. The sides, it's always the same sides. Roasted seasonal vegetables, which has been great, man. I love the roasted zucchinis and cauliflower and all that. It's been fantastic so far. Root vegetables as well, so maybe there's some potato there. I don't know what's going on there. And then, of course, because it's Italian today, we do get Caesar salad finally. Their croutons. Pram on the side, so that would of course mean parm on the side. So that should be a good day today, as they got to get AI into the typing. But hey, man,
maybe that is the problem.
What's for lunch, man? We'll take that. We'll see what's going on with that. We get the salad, so we'll get the beef bolognese. Probably adds a little topper there for the salad. Have like at Wendy's they had that like chili taco bowl. Which is pretty good there if you eat into bowls. They sprinkle on some of the chips. They sprinkle on the chili there.
I've never had that.
Yeah, it's pretty tasty. It's one of the best things there. For healthy-wise, it's not even that healthy.
I'm eating Wendy's. I'm not eating healthy.
Yeah, you get the Baconator for sure. But here we go, man. I didn't think we'd have two $4 winners on, but we do. It's NVIDIA. Thank you so much for watching. The small cap masters are upon us very, very soon with Luis Barbado coming in around one-ish there, so stay tuned there. Most likely he'll be in the chat. He always seems to be in there. So check out Luis, Joe, and Sharif. The Professor Sharif, they're looking very professor-like with his glasses. We will see them very, very soon as well. But yeah, so far so good as we continue to climb higher now. Hands up in the air, man. We have our stops in. They're all at the 50-period moving average. So stop. I mean, the TQs, I maybe have to change this, man. This is really getting exciting. 75.40. I did have it at 75.20. So let's go 75. Let's go 49 by the time. I won't be here. I'm going to hit the gym, and then we'll come back and see what's going on. And then our Intel trade as well, because now that's almost $5 in the money. My stop was 119, so still there. I'm going to up that to like 119.50. We'll put the stop in there. And and I think you said it perfectly, give the best trades, this is what Neil said, a little more room. So I think if Intel, it seems ridiculous to give this $2 all the way to the downside, but again, we have less than 10% left on everything.
Well, I want to clarify, because that's the context I meant was different.
Okay, well, I think you said exactly what I said. We can clarify. You said give the best setups the most room.
No, because it was in the context of I was going to tighten a stop up and not give it. Like a trade is a trade. In here, prior bar out. I was going to take it out early on a gut call, but I'm like, no. Don't just risk half because you don't think it's good. If that's been the best setup, then give it to its stop level. Like just leave the stop in there. Don't get cute with it. That's all. Like it's not. I'm not saying hold this twice as far and then instead of stopping here, stop way up there. Like that's not what I meant. Like I'm always gonna adhere because I think it's important. Like one of the things that I think matters the most is like a trade is not a call. A call is I think X is going up. I think Y is going down. A trade is I'm entering here, and the reason for it is because this trend line broke, and I've drawn that poorly, and then I'm going to give it to like the prior bar, like this prior bar when it held the trend line. So I'll take the break of this bar, and then I'll give it to that bar. That's the trade, for better or for worse, on that stock. And I want my exit in this $1.50. So I'm probably looking at getting out from 101, 131 to 132, which usually is about an average in the middle. So that's about $1 worth average it gets to VWAP, and then I'm risking about 70 pennies. Like that's a trade to me, and I don't want to move off that stop if that's what's been working. Sometimes you get a gut call and you're like, I don't like it. I'm going to tighten up the stop and lose less. That's what I was getting at it all.
There you go. Great show, Neil, Sean, and Adara. So thank you so much for all of that, guys. We really do appreciate everybody, man. And like I said, this has been one of the best mornings here, I feel like. So congratulations to everybody. It's been awesome. We've had a great show. We had Luis Barbato on early. We've got Dara back there coming through, and it's just been absolutely fantastic. With only 30 seconds to go, Neil and I will be back at 2 p.m. today. And then that'll be it for me until Tuesday. It is a holiday in Canada this week, but not in the United States. So we're back. If those of you are joining us in Canada, we're live Monday as well on what we call Victoria Day. Is that what it is? May 2-4.
I wish we would match
around here. So yeah, man, I'm not here Monday, or I'm not here the next Monday. What is it in the States on the May?
Memorial Day, right?
Memorial Day. Yeah, what a great. Memorial Day is one of the funnest holidays, I feel like, because that's when you start to feel those vibes, hopefully about the outside. You get those barbecues going. Oh, man, here we go now. And look, man, we're going to throw it over to these guys because whatever. But right now, we are now $4.50 in the money on Nvidia. We're now $1.30 in the money on the TQs, and we're $5 in the money on Intel. As, yeah, man, this chip trade does not stop. And, oh, yeah, by the way, yesterday, we put it out. We bought some ARM at 201, so we're extending that out. It did hit 219 today. I'm not taking it out for 4%, but maybe I should.
Long term.
Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. I will have a great trip in Minnesota. We just got the carry-on bag for the sticks. We're ready to rock and roll. But damn, man, these kids are way too expensive.
Old oversized luggage, man.
You might be smart stopping at 1, man. 3 is bankrupting me to the high heavens. Maybe I got to get Marissa into the employment line at some point soon. Take care, everybody. We'll see you at 2 p.m. The big show is next.
Go get them, boys.